Chapter 2074. Supremacy Evil Spirit was a little anxious. Night Sorrow's main body's lightning tribulation had already reached the 8th wave. When Night Sorrow was undergoing the first few waves of lightning tribulation, Supremacy Evil Spirit didn't arrive. However, he who controlled the evil spirit realm's origin power could sense the lightning tribulation, so he could determine which wave it was. 1 was the beginning, 9 was the limit. The heavenly Tao's 9 Emperor's Tribulation and Emperor's Tribulation had 9 waves of lightning tribulation. In other words, after the 9th wave, Night Sorrow would be an Emperor's Tribulation cultivator. Supremacy Evil Spirit had estimated that after Night Sorrow's main body passed the lightning tribulation, even if he was in a weakened state, he wouldn't be a match for him. Night Sorrow's clone was already so strong. After the main body passed the tribulation, his strength would also increase. If the main body didn't make a move, he wouldn't be able to take down Night Sorrow's clone. If the main body made a move, he would be in danger. Supremacy Evil Spirit anxiously used all kinds of trump cards and bombarded Night Sorrow. He wanted to destroy Night Sorrow's clone. That would be a blow to Night Sorrow's main body. The damage to the main body might even cause the main body to fail the tribulation. Supremacy Evil Spirit attacked with all his strength, pressuring Night Sorrow. When the clone was in danger, Night Sorrow used the space-time realm. He was still unwilling to use the virtue domain to suppress Supremacy Evil Spirit. He was worried that Supremacy Evil Spirit would attack others in desperation. The consequences would be very serious. Supremacy Evil Spirit didn't think about Night Sorrow's worries. In his eyes, only Night Sorrow was blocking his path. After dealing with Night Sorrow, the cultivators of the 9-domain world wouldn't be able to stop him. On the other hand, no matter how many cultivators he killed, as long as Night Sorrow was there, he wouldn't be able to do anything. The battle was intense. Wu Lingfei had already killed the opponent's clone. Now, the main body and the clone were attacking the opponent's main body with all their strength. Tianyu and the opponent were evenly matched. Most new $. Chapter W up LTE May's battle results were even more ruthless. She was fighting with her true body. With her Emperor rank cultivation, how could the evil spirits below the Emperor rank be her match? They were constantly being killed by her. The members of the God-slaying team were the same. They had good battle results and were constantly killing the evil spirits that were charging at them. After the 8th wave of lightning tribulation, Night Sorrow's main body welcomed the 9th wave of lightning tribulation, which was also the strongest wave of lightning tribulation. This wave of lightning tribulation killed countless cultivators. In the celestial realm, it was not that there were no cultivators who had reached the imperial tribulation level, but generally, no one would attempt it in advance because the failure rate was too high. This was also the reason why there were so many cultivators in the celestial realm and very few imperial tribulation cultivators. The lightning tribulation came crashing down. Night Sorrow, who had consumed a lot of energy and had to fight after the tribulation, used his virtue domain to weaken the lightning tribulation that entered his domain. Then, he attacked with his spear to destroy the lightning tribulation energy. Afterward, he absorbed it into his body and circulated his energy to refine it. Seeing the golden light flickering on Night Sorrow's main body, Supremacy Evil Spirit didn't quite understand. He didn't know what was going on, but he knew that the lightning tribulation's threat to Night Sorrow had decreased. He couldn't kill Night Sorrow's clone and Night Sorrow's main body was about to succeed in his tribulation. This made Supremacy Evil Spirit very anxious. While attacking Night Sorrow, he was constantly thinking of a countermeasure. After thinking for a moment, Supremacy Evil Spirit understood that this matter couldn't be done. If this continued, the result would be Night Sorrow surviving the lightning tribulation and then resting to kill him. With a prediction of the situation, Supremacy Evil Spirit adjusted his tactics. His main body continued to attack Night Sorrow's clone while his clone went to kill Wu Lingfei. Since he couldn't kill Night Sorrow and change the direction of the situation, Supremacy Evil Spirit planned to kill a few experts under Night Sorrow's command first. Seeing Supremacy Evil Spirit's clone attacking Wu Lingfei, Night Sorrow became anxious. Supremacy Evil Spirit still walked on the path he was most worried about. Concubine Fei, defend with all your strength. Supremacy Evil Spirit, if you dare to separate your main body from your clone, then go die. Night Sorrow's clone flashed with golden light as the power of virtue reinforced the reincarnation field. Then, he brandished the blood-Qilin evil slaying spear and used the destruction true dragon art. In fact, This art was no longer the destruction true dragon art but the reincarnation true dragon art. It just didn't change the name. It was the way to use the destruction true dragon art, but the energy was already reincarnation energy. After using the reincarnation true dragon art, Knight Sorrow's soul extinguishing slash also slashed at Supremacy Evil Spirit. He had to bring pressure to Supremacy Evil Spirit and make his clone come back to support his main body. Otherwise, the 9 domain world's cultivators would be greatly impacted and there would be a large number of casualties. Golden power of virtue descended and reinforced the reincarnation field. Knight Sorrow's reincarnation field's power instantly increased by 30% and formed a suppression on Supremacy Evil Spirit. One had to know that increasing one's strength by 10% at the Emperor rank was as hard as ascending the heavens. Knight Sorrow's sudden increase of 30% was something Supremacy Evil Spirit never expected. With his field and speed suppressed, he could only brandish his blade to block Knight Sorrow's blood-chilling evil-slaying spear. Supremacy Evil Spirit's reaction was very fast, but he was still affected by the negative effects of Knight Sorrow's reincarnation true dragon art. His blade was a bit slower and blocked Knight Sorrow's blood-chilling evil-slaying spear's main attack direction. However, he didn't completely block it and the blood-chilling evil-slaying spear pierced through his shoulder region. At this moment, Knight Sorrow's soul extinguishing slash had reached Supremacy Evil Spirit's head and was constantly slashing, trying to break through Supremacy Evil Spirit's soul spirit defense. On the other hand, Knight Sorrow's second move had also arrived. You dare to cheat! At this moment, how could Supremacy Evil Spirit not know that Knight Sorrow was hiding his strength and that his main body was in danger? Supremacy Evil Spirit's clone that attacked Wu Lingfei instantly returned and started attacking Knight Sorrow's back. Wu Lingfei let out a breath of relief. Just now, she was in extreme danger. She relied on the extreme cold heaven and earth to slow down Supremacy Evil Spirit's blade aura and barely dodged it. If there were a few more moves, she definitely wouldn't be able to withstand it. In order to prevent Supremacy Evil Spirit's main body and clone from separating again and attacking the other members of the team, Knight Sorrow's clone used all of his strength. His power domain suppression, spear art absolute art, and soul spirit attack absolute art were all used to attack Supremacy Evil Spirit's main body. As for Supremacy Evil Spirit's clone's interference, he directly used Void Step and Space-Time Realm to dodge. Supremacy Evil Spirit's face was grave and stern. He was now in a very dangerous situation. His main body had already been hit twice by Knight Sorrow's spear. If not for the fact that he was in the evil spirit world and the evil spirit origin energy had a strong recovery ability for his body, he would have been seriously injured. The clone was suppressing Supremacy Evil Spirit's attacks while Knight Sorrow's main body was still resisting the Lightning Tribulation. The Lightning Tribulation's attacks were too violent. The lightning was like rain, constantly bombarding Knight Sorrow, wanting to annihilate Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow's main body's power domain was constantly weakening the lightning tribulation that fell into the domain. Then he attacked with his spear. He had to endure it. At this moment, his energy had already been consumed by more than 80%. His situation was very critical. Knight Sorrow's situation was critical, but Supremacy Evil Spirit's situation was also critical. Knight Sorrow ignored his clone's attacks and didn't counterattack. He just grabbed Supremacy Evil Spirit's main body and attacked it. This brought a great threat to Supremacy Evil Spirit's main body. He couldn't win. Chapter 2075. Now that Sovereign Evil Spirit had retreated, the remaining evil spirits didn't have any combat power. They were being killed one after another. Knight Sorrow's clone probed with his spiritual strength and found that Sovereign Evil Spirit had returned to the depths of the storm. He was already out of range. Letting out a breath, Knight Sorrow's clone entered the Lightning Tribulation region and merged with his main body. Knight Sorrow's main body didn't have much energy left. It was already very dangerous for him to endure the Lightning Tribulation. But his clone still had 60% of his energy left after fighting Sovereign Evil Spirit. He could help his main body endure the Lightning Tribulation. As for whether or not Sovereign Evil Spirit would come back, Knight Sorrow wasn't worried. Since Sovereign Evil Spirit had left the range of his spiritual strength, he was also outside of Sovereign Evil Spirit's range. Although the battle was over, Wu Lingfei and the others didn't relax. They were still in a defensive formation because Knight Sorrow's tribulation was still ongoing. Aunt Wu Lingfei, it's as if these evil spirits have taken some powerful medicine today. They're completely different from before. Tianyu went to Wu Lingfei's side and said, "It's because Sovereign Evil Spirit is leading them. He's too powerful. Everyone, stay close to the Lightning Tribulation region. Don't let him sneak attack you." Wu Lingfei was worried that Sovereign Evil Spirit would come back. She didn't have the same judgment as Night Sorrow. After all, her spiritual strength was inferior to Night Sorrow's. The group moved slightly. They were still on guard. That Sovereign Evil Spirit is too powerful. If he appears, we have to avoid him. Other than Night Sorrow, no one in the 9 regions world can stop him. Not even for a moment, reminded Wu Lingfei. That bastard, he's taking advantage of Brother 13's tribulation to attack him, cursed Yi Mei. Based on what he said just now, the reason he didn't pay attention to us while we were here is because he wants to be like Yi Shang, seeking a breakthrough. He wants to fight after he reaches a higher level. It's a good thing Yi Shang broke through early. Wu Lingfei felt lucky. As expected, the tribulation of a great world isn't so easy to pass. Also, there's nothing to learn. The tribulations of the primal chaos world's 3 great worlds are completely different from this, said Yang Lei. Don't worry. Everyone has seen the difference in strength between Night Sorrow and Sovereign Evil Spirit. As long as they don't fight in the destructive energy storm, Sovereign Evil Spirit isn't Night Sorrow's opponent. Wu Lingfei. The 9th wave of lightning tribulation lasted for almost an hour before it officially ended. As the thunder tribulation disappeared, a huge crack suddenly appeared in the space above Yi Shang's head. Following that, golden clouds appeared and descended towards Yi Shang. That was the reward of the heavenly Tao after the heavenly tribulation. The reincarnation domain was released and then withdrawn. Yi Shuang absorbed the heavenly Tao's reward into his domain and then pressed it into his body. Then, the clear sky pagoda appeared and enlarged. His body flashed and sat cross-legged at the top of the clear sky pagoda to cultivate. After successfully breaking through, he had to stabilize his realm and increase his cultivation to match his realm. Seeing that Night Sorrow had successfully broken through, the 9 domain worlds members let out a sigh of relief. They had all seen the battle just now. It was indeed dangerous. Clean up the battlefield and then rest in the camp, ordered Wu Lingfei. Wu Lingfei, Tianyu, and Yi Mei didn't move. They still had to guard Night Sorrow and not let the evil spirits disturb him. As time passed, everyone felt more and more at ease. This time was too important for Night Sorrow. It was the time to stabilize his realm and increase his cultivation. 3 days later, Wu Lingfei, Tianyu, and Yi Mei returned to the camp. They knew that 3 days had passed in the real world. Night Sorrow had cultivated in the time acceleration for a few months. Not only did he not consume any energy, but his realm had also stabilized. At this time, Lord Evil Spirit wouldn't come to cause trouble. Not only could he not take down Night Sorrow, but he would also fall into Night Sorrow's hands. After cultivating in the clear sky pagoda for a month, Night Sorrow returned to the camp. He then asked about everyone's losses in the previous battle. After receiving the report that there were only heavy and light injuries and no deaths, Night Sorrow let out a sigh of relief. He didn't want to see the 9 domain worlds cultivators die in battle. Brother Shersan, when are we going to fight again? Tianyu's desire to fight was very strong. I plan to wait a little longer. After the destruction will reach perfection, my other attributes have also improved. I plan to increase them and then fight Lord Evil Spirit. As for whether Lord Evil Spirit will reach the Emperor Tribulation level at this time, I don't think the possibility is high. Besides, even if he passes the Emperor Tribulation, I'm not afraid. Night Sorrow looked at the destruction energy storm and said, "We'll listen to Brother Shersan's arrangement." Tianyu nodded. "I'm of the nothingness attribute. I have an opportunity to break through. I only need a short amount of time. Also, my true body will be cultivating. My clone will enter the annihilation storm to capture this sovereign evil spirit. I can cultivate and deal with him at the same time," said Yi Shan. "I see. I was really worried just now. I was worried that if we gave Lord Evil Spirit enough time to reach the Emperor Tribulation level, it would be troublesome." Wu Lingfei said. "I understand your worries. My main body will cultivate here. Even if he comes out, it won't affect our people." Night Sorrow looked at his tattered robe and said, "Night Sorrow, you should tidy up later. You haven't tidied up these past few months." People who don't know you will say you are poor if they see you. Wu Lingfei said with a smile after noticing Night Sorrow's gaze. Auntie Fei, we're not shallow people. Yishan didn't know how to explain himself after Wu Ling concubine's words. Hee. Yes, but you are now an Emperor Tribulation Cultivator and a Domain Lord. You still have to pay attention to your image. Wu Lingfei nodded. After resting for 2 days, Night Sorrow threw the Haotian Godly Pagoda into the Destruction Storm. His main body continued to meditate in the Haotian Godly Pagoda, while his clone held the blood-Chilan evil-slaying spear tightly on his back and flashed into the center of the Destruction Storm. My lord, the Domain Lord has entered the center of the Destruction Storm. He won't be in any danger, right? Yi Xiling asked Wu Lingfei. In the past, the cultivators of the Eastern Profound Domain called Wu Lingfei Domain Lord. However, the term Domain Lord wasn't suitable now. In the 9-domain world, Night Sorrow was the Domain Lord. In the Primal Chaos Domain, Night Sorrow was the Domain Lord. The term Domain Lord was only suitable for Night Sorrow. He didn't enter the destructive energy storm to fight previously because he wanted to increase his chances of winning. Right now, he's fighting in the energy storm. Let's not talk about whether or not he can kill Sovereign Evil Spirit, but at the very least, he should be able to protect himself. Wu Lingfei nodded at Yi Ling. She was very respectful to those who cared about Yishan. Chapter 2076. Night Sorrow's life isn't easy. Everyone in the 9 regions world should know this. No one can take his face lightly. It's impossible for anyone to step on his shoulders. Even if I don't say anything, the God-slaying team won't be able to pass. Wu Lingfei glanced at the area where the God-slaying team was. We'll tell her about this. Please be magnanimous. Don't lower yourself to her level. Yi Xiling nodded. She knew Wu Lingfei was telling the truth. Don't worry. If she doesn't target Night Sorrow, I won't make things difficult for her. Wu Lingfei gave Yi Xiling face. She knew it wasn't easy to be a teacher. While Night Sorrow's main body was cultivating, so were the members of the God-slaying team. However, their clones were idle. Other than patrolling, they were chatting and drinking together. I wonder how 13th brother is doing. Night Sorrow was more worried about Night Sorrow because he had gone out for a period of time. Don't worry. The one who should worry is Sovereign Evil Spirit. Don't let 13th brother catch him. If he does, he'll be dead for sure. Tianyu said. True. It's always 13th brother taking care of others. Yi Mei nodded. Night Sorrow's main body was still cultivating. Since his clone hadn't returned, there was no news. Everyone could only wait. In fact, Night Sorrow's clone had indeed fought with Supremacy Evil Spirit once. Supremacy Evil Spirit's clone and main body had fought together, but they had both been defeated by Night Sorrow. It was Supremacy Evil Spirit who had run faster and escaped when Night Sorrow had severely injured his clone. After Sovereign Evil Spirit escaped, Night Sorrow didn't find him again. Sovereign Evil Spirit had completely hidden himself. He knew that there was a huge gap between him and Night Sorrow. If he fought Night Sorrow now, he would die. Although he had defeated Sovereign Evil Spirit, Night Sorrow felt that he had made a mistake. If his main body had come, Sovereign Evil Spirit wouldn't have been able to escape. After searching in Annihilation Storm for a month without any results, Night Sorrow returned to the camp. He had no other choice. If he couldn't find Sovereign Evil Spirit, he couldn't fight even if he wanted to. Night Sorrow entered the tent. Wu Lingfei and the others also came in. They asked about Night Sorrow's operation. After the battle, he disappeared. After all, Annihilation Storm is his territory. If we don't think of an effective method, we won't be able to find him, Night Sorrow said. Asterisk forever. M free_look small $+ say J and Annihilation Storm. The area covered by Annihilation Storm is too big. We can't effectively investigate. It's useless for others to help you investigate. If they find him, they'll be killed by him, Wu Lingfei said. Yes, this is a problem. Of course we can wait. The 9 regions origin body said that 1,000 years is the limit of the tribulation. If the evil spirit world can't destroy the world undergoing the tribulation in 1,000 years, then the tribulation will naturally disappear. In other words, Sovereign evil spirit can hide for 1,000 years at most, Night Sorrow said. 1,000 years is the protection of the weak? But that's too long. There are too many variables. It's a competition of whether we can improve faster or the other party can improve faster in 1,000 years. Wu Lingfei thought of the key problem. We have the advantage in the current situation. It's just that we don't have a good way to find sovereign evil spirit and kill him, Night Sorrow said. Wu Lingfei, Tianyu, Yi Mei, and the others didn't say anything. They didn't have any good ideas either. That shameless bastard. Yang Lei scolded. Ninth senior sister. Sovereign evil spirit isn't my opponent. If we don't hide, should we run out to die? No one is stupid. Night Sorrow said with a smile. He knew that this was Yang Lei. So many years had passed, but her personality was still the same. Then we'll slowly think of a way. If he can't defeat you, then we'll take the lead, Wu Lingfei said after thinking for a while. Yes, we have to think of a way to dig him out, Night Sorrow said. He didn't have any clues now. While his main body cultivated, Night Sorrow's clone walked around the camp every day. While guiding others in their cultivation, he thought of a way to solve the problem. Time slipped away bit by bit. Every once in a while, Yi Shang would go to the Annihilation Storm to investigate. He couldn't let senior evil spirit cultivate peacefully, so he would disturb it whenever he could. Supremacy evil spirit had gone into hiding. He came from the evil spirit realm, so he knew more about the evil spirit realm than Night Sorrow. He was currently residing in a small space attached to the evil spirit realm. However, the energy in the space was very poor, and there was no destructive energy to provide him with the power of heaven and earth. He could only hide. Sovereign evil spirit had analyzed the situation. He had fought with Night Sorrow twice. He knew that he wasn't a match for Night Sorrow at the same cultivation level. Moreover, the difference was quite large. If he was caught by Night Sorrow, he would die. The reason why he was hiding was because he was worried. He couldn't even handle one of Night Sorrow's clones. If Night Sorrow's main body and clone came, he would definitely die. Sovereign evil spirit also knew that hiding like this wasn't a long-term solution. It was very difficult for him to reach the Emperor Tribulation realm in this space. Not to mention the lack of energy, there was no destructive energy of the world for him to analyze and comprehend. The cultivation conditions here couldn't be compared to the center of the Annihilation Storm. This situation made Sovereign Evil Spirit feel very conflicted. However, his own safety was the most important. He really didn't dare to take the risk. If he died, he would die. In less than a year, time had accelerated by more than 30 years. Night Sorrow's nihility will of the world had reached perfection. Without any hesitation, his clone guarded while his main body began to break through. Sovereign Evil Spirit came to cause trouble? Night Sorrow couldn't wait for Sovereign Evil Spirit to come out. Once he came out, Night Sorrow would kill him. After passing the Annihilation Emperor Tribulation, Night Sorrow already understood the Emperor Tribulation. Even if he was in the middle of the tribulation, his main body could still fight. With his main body and his clone attacking together, killing Sovereign Evil Spirit wouldn't be difficult. However, the reality disappointed Night Sorrow because Sovereign Evil Spirit didn't appear. Without any good ideas, Night Sorrow's main body cultivated while his clone entered the Annihilation Storm to search for Sovereign Evil Spirit every once in a while. After Night Sorrow returned, Wu Lingfei went to Night Sorrow's tent. Night Sorrow, don't be too anxious. This tribulation has a time limit. It can last for at most 1,000 years. We can endure it. But if this matter isn't solved, it will always be a hidden danger. I don't feel at ease. However, this Sovereign Evil Spirit is determined to be a coward. It's really troublesome, said Night Sorrow. Wu Lingfei shook her head. She was also anxious. Her words were just to comfort Night Sorrow. I've thought about it. The only way is to destroy the Annihilation Storm and then clean it up bit by bit. Night Sorrow's face was filled with determination. He made his decision. Chapter 2077. How do we destroy it? Wu Lingfei asked. Night Sorrow took a deep breath and said, set up an array and push it towards the center of the storm. We'll cut and devour the storm area piece by piece. This is a big project. The storm area is so big. It will take a long time to set up an array, Wu Lingfei said. The evil spirits in the evil spirit world, including Sovereign Evil Spirit, have good fighting strength. However, they don't have a refining civilization. The evil spirits we met were not good in other aspects except for weapons. They don't even have spatial magic treasures. Now that sovereign evil spirit is hiding, I can't find it. There might be an alternate space in this area. We'll set up an array to interfere with the operation of the storm. That way, we can find the alternate space. In addition, it won't be difficult to set up an array that doesn't need to attack, Night Sorrow said. Wu Lingfei didn't say anything. She knew that Night Sorrow already had a plan in mind. Night Sorrow didn't just have the idea of setting up an array. He had thought about it carefully. 1,000 years was too long, and there were too many variables. He wasn't willing to wait. Now that he was stronger than Sovereign Evil Spirit, and the cultivators of the 9-domain world were stronger than those of the Evil Spirit world, he had to seize the opportunity to solve the problem. Night Sorrow called Tai Shu Yen, Yun Tianlong, and Yiling Huan, who had been managing the 9-domain world, to the tent. He also informed Jun Xuanji and Zhu Jiuyun. The two of them had great influence in the hearts of the cultivators in the Profound Mysteries realm and Nether realm. Now, I need array masters. They must have cultivation in array Dao above the Saint realm. You can go to the reserve team or arrange for some array masters to come over. Array masters are relatively weak in fighting strength and are prone to dying in battle. It's better if you send your avatars, Night Sorrow said. Tai Shu Yen and the others went to handle the matter. Yi Shan took out an array diagram and looked at it carefully. This was a space-time array diagram that he had newly researched. The array's effect was to stabilize space and produce some fluctuations. Within the array's area of influence, there would be some undercurrents of space energy. Even alternate spaces wouldn't be able to hide themselves and would be exposed by the space-time energy fluctuations. After the formation masters gathered, Night Sorrow walked out of the tent and cupped his hands towards one of them. He was very familiar with this person. It was Tianji Tower's formation master, He Shang. Night Sorrow took out the array diagram and called for 2 members of the God-slaying team to hold it up. Then, he explained the principles of array Dao to the array master, as well as the simplest way to set up the array. Night Sorrow had spent a lot of effort on the space-time wave array. He had used the simplest method to set up a high-level array formation. After he finished talking, Night Sorrow began to arrange for everyone to have a look. Free of 4 fees. Look at T small. Say. For you, the most difficult part is that you can't move freely in this storm of destructive energy. Therefore, I will refine some defensive array discs that can resist the attack of the destructive energy. In addition, you can rest and recuperate in the array that has been set up before you continue to set up the array, Night Sorrow said. All the formation masters bowed. The cultivators of the 9 domains world all knew that Domain Master Night Sorrow was not only extremely powerful in battle, but he also had extremely profound attainments in alchemy, weapon refinement, and formation Dao. That's good. You all go and familiarize yourselves with the array diagram first. Then, split into several small teams, Night Sorrow instructed. Then, he left in a flash to refine the array discs. Refining the defensive array discs was not difficult for Night Sorrow. It was just a space-time array that could stabilize the small space around the cultivator. While the formation masters were studying the array diagram, Night Sorrow went to the 8-dragon cauldron and began to refine the array discs. He did not lack materials. He just needed to refine them. 1 month had passed in the real world. Night Sorrow left the 8-dragon cauldron and went to the formation master's camp. Then, he handed over 200 array discs to Tai Shu Yen and distributed them. After the array discs are activated, they can protect a small space around the body. This space is enough for self-defense when setting up the array. At other times, you can retreat into the array and rest. Night Sorrow explained. Everything was ready. Night Sorrow brought people to start the big project of setting up the array. There were some Holy Spirit stones in the 9 domains world's Commander-in-Chief's residence, but they were mainly provided by Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow also began to set up the array. He set up a large vertical and deep spatial array that extended into the destructive energy storm. The others used the array he set up as a base to set up the array. The destructive energy storm covered an area of 200,000 miles. What Night Sorrow needed to do now was to use the array to cut it apart so that the destructive energy could not connect. That way, his soul power could explore a larger area. If there was no destructive energy disturbance, his soul power could explore 100,000 miles without any difficulty. In other words, if there was no destructive energy storm, his main body would be on one side and his avatar would be on the other. His soul power could cross-search. The process of setting up the array was relatively slow, but Night Sorrow did not care. It was fine as long as it could be done. Half a year later, a cross-shaped array appeared in the destructive energy storm. It directly cut the destructive energy storm into 4 parts. At this time, Night Sorrow discovered a special area. This area was the source of the destructive energy storm. It was a natural array. In the past, Night Sorrow flew in the destructive energy storm. Because of the destructive energy, he did not discover this place. There are many destructive crystals, but there is no world origin. Night Sorrow said to Wu Lingfei and Yi Mei, who were standing beside him. That's normal. Supremacy Evil Spirit is the evil spirit world's realm lord. The world origin must be on him. Wu Lingfei said. After breaking this natural array, the destructive energy storm will disappear. We don't need to continue setting up the array. Night Sorrow finished speaking and flew into the natural array. The natural destructive energy storm array was very strong, but it could not stop Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow had cultivated Yan Wushuang's peerless array. His understanding of array Dao and array theory was very deep. Breaking a natural array was not difficult. However, he still needed some time to study it. Supremacy Evil Spirit stayed in the alternate space and did not come out. However, he still knew a little about the destructive energy storm. Because he had some world origin on him, the current situation made him very anxious. However, he did not dare to come out of the alternate space because he could not defeat Night Sorrow. After studying the destructive energy storm array, Night Sorrow appeared. He led a group of people to set up a space-time cutting array to surround the natural array. Then he stopped moving. Night Sorrow, what are you doing? Wu Lingfei asked, puzzled. This is the place where Supremacy Evil Spirit is most likely hiding. So, we have to pay attention. My main body's space-time attribute is about to reach perfection. When my main body can come out to fight, we will break this array. When we find Supremacy Evil Spirit, we will completely resolve the 9 regions world's tribulation. Night Sorrow used a soul transmission to Wu Lingfei. He was worried that he was already under Supremacy Evil Spirit surveillance. Wu Lingfei nodded. She knew that Night Sorrow did not want to waste too much time on the 9 regions world's tribulation, because there was still a war in the celestial realm. Night Sorrow also needed to increase his cultivation base. In addition, Wu Lingfei also knew that when Night Sorrow returned to the celestial realm, it would cause a big impact. Forbidden Element Imperial Tribulation cultivators were already the mainstays of the 100 Races Alliance. Chapter 2078. In the Alliance of the 100 Clans in the Heaven Realm, if one had the cultivation of the tribulation of emperors and had decent morals, one could become a clan elder. If one had the cultivation of the tribulation of emperors, one could become a law-enforcing clan elder. Yi Shang not only had the cultivation of the tribulation of emperors, but he was also a human sovereign. His combat ability far exceeded that of his peers. When he appeared in the Heaven Realm again, the 100 Clans clan elder would naturally pay attention to him. Night Sorrow was in a hurry to deal with Divinity Heretical because he had another problem. After his 3-attribute power of heaven and earth was cultivated to perfection, there was little room for improvement in the evil spirit world. Cultivation after the Tribulation Emperor level was mainly soul cultivation and one's own power of heaven and earth. It wasn't suitable in the evil spirit world. Night Sorrow didn't move, and the others were waiting for orders. Night Sorrow estimated that in half a year, he would be able to cultivate the space-time power of heaven and earth to perfection. However, it was a little late. He used close to a year to cultivate the space-time power of heaven and earth to perfection. The main reason was that while improving the space-time power of heaven and earth, he also split his attention and planned to take a step forward in the peerless attribute, breaking through the Emperor level bottleneck and entering the Emperor level. Night Sorrow didn't really care about a peerless attribute Emperor. However, the key was that the peerless attribute was related to the level of the taboo attribute. A mid-level taboo attribute and a high-level taboo attribute were completely different. The limitless attribute did not improve, and Night Sorrow could not do anything about it. After all, this was a domain that he was not proficient in. Currently, the limitless attribute, which was a peak Imperial Emperor, was something that he had forcefully fused. Night Sorrow also knew that it was extremely difficult. If this weakness could be broken so easily, Chen Huang would not have been stuck at the Imperial Emperor level for more than 8 epochs. Knight Sorrow was a calm person. He wasn't in a hurry even if he couldn't break through. Some things just had to be done naturally. Now that the 3-attribute power of heaven and earth had reached perfection, there was no need for Knight Sorrow's main body to go into seclusion. In order to prevent divinity heretical from harming others, Knight Sorrow asked Tianyu to put everyone into a spatial treasure. Then, his main body brought Tianyu to the natural array area of Annihilation Storm. "You're here," Wu Lingfei said when she saw Knight Sorrow's main body. "Yes, it's time to completely solve this problem. My true self and avatar will break through the array from 2 different directions. Tianyu, Auntie Fei, Yimei, you 3 will form 2 teams with your true self and avatar to block the other 2 directions. Your main task will be to block them. As long as you can block them for a moment, my true self and avatar will arrive. Remember, it's fine to be injured as the price, but you definitely can't let your life be threatened. Feather Monarch, Little Luo, the 2 of you don't have enough cultivation, so you can't fight against Supremacy Evil Spirit, but take these array discs. When you see Supremacy Evil Spirit appear, activate them and throw them. It'll be good if you can trap him for a while." Knight Sorrow took out some array discs and gave them to his 2 sons. As for the others, Knight Sorrow asked them to leave. After the arrangements were made, Knight Sorrow's main body and avatar began to break through the array. Wu Lingfei, Tianyu and Yimei were fully focused on guarding the array. They couldn't let Supremacy Evil Spirit escape again. As Knight Sorrow's main body and avatar threw out the Holy Spirit stones, the Annihilation Storm's speed slowed down and its strength became lower and lower. At this moment, Supremacy Evil Spirit in the alternate space knew that he couldn't hide anymore. If this continued, the Annihilation Storm would stop and he wouldn't be able to hide in the alternate space. At that time, he would be caught like a turtle in a jar. Supremacy Evil Spirit didn't plan to hide anymore. He came out of the alternate space and charged towards Wu Lingfei's avatar, Tianyu's main body and Yimei's main body. This was currently the weakest area of the 9-domain world. Wu Lingfei's main body's ice-sealing ability was very strong, so Supremacy Evil Spirit didn't want to collide with it. Supremacy Evil Spirit appeared in the west. Knight Sorrow received a message. Wu Lingfei's avatar had crushed Knight Sorrow's message crystal. Knight Sorrow's main body flashed and flew towards the west. His avatar continued to throw out Holy Spirit stones, completely stopping the Annihilation Storm's natural array before flying towards Supremacy Evil Spirit. When Supremacy Evil Spirit appeared in the range of Wu Lingfei's soul power, Wu Lingfei used her Extreme Cold World. Yimei also used her Illusory Domain to join the Extreme Cold World. The 3 of them had practiced together before. Wu Lingfei's Extreme Cold World wouldn't reject Yimei's domain. Yi Xiaolua's main body and avatar dodged and arrived at the edge of Wu Lingfei's Extreme Cold World. Both of his hands were holding array discs. If Supremacy Evil Spirit wanted to escape from the edge and Wu Lingfei couldn't stop him, he would throw out the array discs. Supremacy Evil Spirit naturally sensed this scene. Black and red energy appeared on his body. Yin-Yang Destruction Domain burst forth and rushed towards Wu Lingfei's Extreme Cold World. He didn't have time to change direction. He knew that if he was slow, Knight Sorrow would find him. At that time, he wouldn't be able to escape. After entering the range of Wu Lingfei's Extreme Cold World, Supremacy Evil Spirit's speed decreased. Wu Lingfei used all her strength to cast the Extreme Cold World. She wanted to slow down Supremacy Evil Spirit's speed and suppress his battle strength. Most new chapter. Last chapter. Rock Wing Slash. Tianyu, who was in the world of extreme cold, used his innate skill. A pair of azure pung wings appeared. Then, he cut through space and attacked Supremacy Evil Spirit. Wu Lingfei also used her Extreme Cold Sword Qi to cut the area Supremacy Evil Spirit was moving towards. Wu Lingfei, Tianyu, and Yi Mei all knew that Supremacy Evil Spirit was much stronger than them. It was unrealistic to fight it head-on. They could only use long-range energy attacks and control skills to stop Supremacy Evil Spirit from escaping. They could only control it until Knight Sorrow arrived. Then their mission would be completed. Those who block this supremacy will die. Supremacy Evil Spirit waved his battle blade and chopped forward. He didn't attack Wu Lingfei and the others. He wanted to open a path and leave quickly. He wanted to rush out. He didn't want to kill the enemies. Tianyu's body flickered, and he continuously used rock wing slash to interfere with Supremacy Evil Spirit. Wu Lingfei flew back while maintaining the extreme cold world's envelopment on Supremacy Evil Spirit. Then, she continuously released Sword Qi. Yi Mei continuously released Soul Shock. She also transformed into her true body. Her 9 tails unceasingly lashed out, and energy began to entangle Supremacy Evil Spirit. But because the gap between the two sides was too big, Supremacy Evil Spirit's charge was not stopped. However, he couldn't break through the blockade of Wu Lingfei and the others. The entanglement continued. Wu Lingfei, Tianyu, and Yi Mei avoided direct contact with each other. They bombarded Supremacy Evil Spirit with their energy, restraining Supremacy Evil Spirit from breaking through the blockade. Supremacy Evil Spirit roared in a low voice. Then his hair stood on end. The blade aura on his battle blade sharply increased, and he madly chopped forward. Tianyu couldn't dodge in time and was sent flying. He vomited blood from the shock. At this time, Yi Mei rushed forward. Her 9 tails unceasingly entangled Supremacy Evil Spirit. Along with continuous muffled sounds, Yi Mei's energy was shattered. Her body was also sent flying. Wu Lingfei touched her sword with her left hand. Drops of blood appeared on the sword. That was blood essence. Wu Lingfei activated her blood essence to increase her battle strength. Chapter 2079. Seeing Night Sorrow's arrival, Wu Lingfei's face lit up as she retreated. With Night Sorrow's arrival, there was no need for her to fight head-on. She couldn't handle Supremacy Evil Spirit. Similarly, Supremacy Evil Spirit was nothing in front of Night Sorrow. Hearing Night Sorrow shout, Supremacy Evil Spirit's expression changed. He was most afraid of Night Sorrow catching up to him. Now that Night Sorrow was here, he had to think of a way to deal with this crisis. Supremacy Evil Spirit roared, and the energy around his body trembled. Then, a clone appeared. After Supremacy Evil Spirit's clone appeared, it charged towards Night Sorrow. At the crucial moment, Supremacy Evil Spirit made a choice. He chose to give up on his clone and use it to block Night Sorrow's pursuit while his main body fled. However, this was only Supremacy Evil Spirit's idea. Night Sorrow naturally wouldn't follow his plan. Yi Shang's real body flashed, using the space-time realm and void step to dodge the blockade of Supremacy Evil Spirit's clone. Then, he charged towards Supremacy Evil Spirit's main body. Supremacy Evil Spirit's main body was the key. Supremacy Evil Spirit's main body could break through and increase its level. Even if the clone escaped, it would not be a big problem. Night Sorrow could even ignore a clone that couldn't break through and increase its level. As long as Supremacy Evil Spirit's clone dared to charge towards the 9-domain world, Night Sorrow's 9-domain world would be able to kill it. Supremacy Evil Spirit was a little dumbfounded when he saw that Night Sorrow ignored his doppelganger and went straight for his main body. This was what he was most afraid of. Without his main body, he would have no future. Helpless, Supremacy Evil Spirit's clone could only chase after Night Sorrow to support his main body. The battle began. Night Sorrow's main body fought Supremacy Evil Spirit's main body and clone. Supremacy Evil Spirit, you are not my match. If you don't want to die, you can only submit. Night Sorrow waved his Samsara halberd. Every move he made exhausted Supremacy Evil Spirit. Dream on. This sovereign is the incarnation of the evil spirit world. How can I submit to you? Supremacy Evil Spirit roared. All right. If you want to die, then we have nothing to say. We can only end this war with the death of one side. Night Sorrow waved his Samsara halberd and attacked Supremacy Evil Spirit's main body continuously. He didn't care about Supremacy Evil Spirit's doppelgangers. Sovereign Evil Spirit's main body was constantly retreating, while his doppelganger was recklessly attacking, all for the sake of fighting for a chance for the main body to retreat. Damn it! Suddenly, Supremacy Evil Spirit cursed. Then, his doppelganger suddenly accelerated and entered the destructive energy storm that was cut apart by the cross formation. Then he began to flee. He had the evil spirit origin in his body and discovered Night Sorrow's doppelganger that was rushing over at high speed. Supremacy Evil Spirit knew that if his doppelganger didn't escape now, when Night Sorrow's doppelganger arrived, he wouldn't be able to escape even if he wanted to. Both his main body and his doppelganger would be killed. Night Sorrow glanced at the direction where Supremacy Evil Spirit's doppelganger fled and helplessly shook his head. There wasn't enough time. If he had more time, his doppelganger would arrive and Supremacy Evil Spirit's doppelganger wouldn't be able to escape. With only Supremacy Evil Spirit's main body left, Night Sorrow began to exert his strength. Virtue energy supported the forbidden domain. Then, he continuously used spear arts and soul attacks. In just a moment, Supremacy Evil Spirit's head was pierced through by Night Sorrow's Samsara halberd. His spirit sea was shattered by Night Sorrow. At this time, a black pearl left Supremacy Evil Spirit's spirit sea and was about to escape. Want to run? Suppress. Night Sorrow fully suppressed the black pearl with his virtue domain and the support of the world's origin energy. After imprisoning it, Night Sorrow grabbed it. The Evil Spirit World's origin pearl. Supremacy Evil Spirit's main body had died in battle. The Evil Spirit World's origin pearl that he had on him naturally fell into Night Sorrow's hands. Others might not be able to suppress the world's origin, but Night Sorrow could. His virtue energy was very powerful and he also had the world's origin energy. Naturally, he was different from ordinary cultivators. Tightly holding the Evil Spirit World's origin pearl, Night Sorrow glanced at his doppelganger that had arrived. Then, his main body left. Night Sorrow sat on the teleportation array and went to the spatial passage between the 9-domain world and the Evil Spirit World. Then, he returned to the 9-domain world. Looking at the sky of the 9-domain world, Night Sorrow exerted strength with his left hand and crushed the Evil Spirit World's origin pearl. After crushing the Evil Spirit World's origin pearl, Night Sorrow received a notification from the 9-domain world's origin pearl. The 9-domain world's calamity had basically passed. The Evil Spirit World could no longer charge into the 9-domain world. With the origin pearl destroyed, the Evil Spirit World's level dropped. It would not be long before it was destroyed. The only thing that needed to be done was to prevent the evil spirits from invading the 9-domain world. Night Sorrow understood that the conflict between worlds had been resolved. The 9-domain world had gained the upper hand. However, the battle between cultivators had not ended. The Evil Spirit World still had the Evil Spirit Lord's doppelganger and the Evil Spirit Emperor. If they charged into the 9-domain world, they would still cause great damage. It could even be said that if the origin pearl was damaged, the Evil Spirit World could still rise from the ashes. However, Night Sorrow would not give them this opportunity. While Night Sorrow was thinking, the 9-domain origin pearl told Night Sorrow that it could no longer accompany Night Sorrow in conquering the Evil Spirit World. It had to absorb the Evil Spirit World's origin chi and advance to the 9-domain world's level. Night Sorrow released the 9-domain origin pearl, and it returned to the Heaven-Sealing Great Hall. After glancing at the Heaven-Sealing Great Hall, Night Sorrow entered the Evil Spirit World once again. When they arrived at the location of the battle, Night Sorrow met up with everyone and continued to talk about the origin pearl. In the clash between the two worlds, our 9-domain world had the upper hand. The rest is our problem. For us, only that Evil Spirit Lord is a problem, Tianyu said. This time, it was my mistake again. At that time it was the final stage of breaking the natural array. I could only draw out my main body. If my clone also came out to fight, then all the previous efforts to break the array would have been wasted. I thought that it was just a little bit of time and it wouldn't affect the outcome of the battle. But in fact, Evil Spirit Lord's clone still escaped. He has the Evil Spirit World's origin pearl and knows some of my movements. This is something I didn't expect. Night Sorrow pointed out the areas where he had underestimated. 13th brother, the current situation is already very good. Evil Spirit Lord's main body has been killed by you, and he only has a clone left. He won't be able to make any progress. What big waves can he cause? Tianyu said. He didn't want to see Night Sorrow bear the responsibility. Yes. Not to mention my main body and clone. My 9-domain doppelgangers are guarding the spatial passageway. He doesn't dare to go out. If he goes out, I can kill him. If he doesn't go out, when the time is up, he will also disappear with the Evil Spirit World, Night Sorrow said. Then what do we do next? Yimei stood out and asked. You and Tianyu heal first. Then we will split into 2 teams and kill evil spirits in the Evil Spirit World. When we have killed enough of them, we will retreat. At that time, we will no longer care about the Evil Spirit World. Night Sorrow said his decision. Night Sorrow was in a hurry to raise his cultivation. After dealing with the hidden dangers in the evil spirit world, he would go to Tianhuang City and cultivate on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. That was the starting point of the Emperor's tribulation. Cultivating there would be twice the result with half the effort. Tianyu and Yi Mei's injuries weren't serious. They had just been hit by the energy impact. After half a month of healing, the two of them recovered. Then, Night Sorrow's main body and clone led the team and began to encircle the evil spirits in the evil spirit world. At this time, the 100 king tribes had already gathered in the demon imperial city. The old and new eras were interchanging. They had entered the last era of this reincarnation cycle. The demon-winged clan was preparing for the final battle. Chapter 2080. Mo Tianji had reached the sovereign emperor realm. The reason why she could cultivate so quickly was because she didn't have any bottlenecks. She could directly absorb resources to increase her cultivation. It could be said that her path was smooth. However, the most important thing for her was her final achievement. Currently, Jun Xuanji and Zhu Jiuyun were the ones who decided her final height, especially Jun Xuanji. Jun Xuanji was the reincarnation of Mo Tianji's soul. His soul and body were perfectly compatible. If he could reach the sovereign realm, he would come looking for her after his memories were awakened. At that time, she would have many methods to use. She could use Jun Xuanji's clone as the main body and this body as a battle clone. However, there was no news of Jun Xuanji reaching the sovereign realm. She didn't sense anything either. This made Mo Tianji very helpless. In addition, Mo Tianji was also very concerned about Zhu Jiuyun's main body. Possessing the main body was completely different from possessing a clone. The main difference was the cultivation potential. Mo Tianji had already merged with Zhu Jiuyun's clone. Zhu Jiuyun's clone wasn't as talented as the main body. Although it was already good, it couldn't satisfy Mo Tianji. Mo Tianji had big ambitions. Without any news, Mo Tianji could only wait. Although she was anxious, she had some patience. Besides, she had to be patient. She couldn't go out with her current strength. Even with her sovereign realm cultivation, she didn't have the qualifications to do whatever she wanted in the celestial realm. After organizing her thoughts, Mo Tianji walked around the small city and entered the spatial treasure to cultivate again. Night Sorrow's main body and clone led their own teams to encircle and annihilate the evil spirits in the evil spirit world. However, they split into two teams. Night Sorrow was worried about their safety. Splitting into a few teams would increase their efficiency. However, what if they encountered the sovereign evil spirit's clone? Apart from him, no one could deal with the sovereign evil spirit. There would be heavy casualties. Night Sorrow wouldn't take such a risk. It didn't matter if the efficiency was lower. He didn't lack time. The fundamental problem was solved. Everyone was very relaxed. Every day, after the operation, they would chat happily. 13th brother, this is the battle of the 9 regions world's cultivators. If we can find help, it will be even easier. Lin Chuan and Long Jin are very anxious, Tianyu said. This is the tribulation of our 9 regions world, the tribulation of our people. It has nothing to do with anyone else, Night Sorrow said with a smile. There are restrictions. Otherwise, Brother 13 could have brought some of the void purple light snakes with you, and we wouldn't have been unable to catch him. He's just a coward. Yimei also cursed. When she transformed into her original form to fight, her tail was injured by the evil spirit sovereign, so she was extremely angry. It's nothing. All he can do is hide. Not to mention, he won't be able to hide for long. Once the tribulation is over, he will disappear into thin air. We'll fight for a while more before heading back, Night Sorrow said with a chuckle. With your 9 domain doppelgangers guarding the passage, the evil spirit realm won't be able to do anything. Wu Lingfei nodded. If that's the case, the 9 domains world will have to wait a little longer before it can officially enter the Great World level, Night Sorrow said. This was something that Night Sorrow felt a little dissatisfied about. Don't worry, we can wait. Time will pass quickly. It's nothing to a great world, Wu Lingfei persuaded Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow nodded and looked at Tai Shu Yen. So many years have passed, and our 9 domains world doesn't have a successful diviner? What are they doing? Commander, we don't know if we have a diviner, but we haven't made any preparations. I'll go back and handle this matter now. Tai Shu Yen cupped her hands and her doppelganger left the camp. There's a problem with my arrangements. I didn't ask about this matter. Sorry. Night Sorrow said to Tai Shu Yan's main body. In the past, when we went to war, there were people who made arrangements for these things. This time, no one made any preparations, so Brother 13 thought that our world didn't have one, Tianyu said. Night Sorrow waved his hand and let everyone set up camp. He stood outside the camp and pondered. If there was a diviner who could divine the results, then they could kill Supremacy Evil Spirit. If they killed Supremacy Evil Spirit and Evil Spirit Emperor, then the tribulation of the Nine Domains world would be over. The Nine Domains world would enter the Great World level and begin to develop at a high speed. 3 days later, Tai Shu Yen brought 3 diviners. Currently, the cultivators of the Nine Domains world haven't come into contact with the field of diviners. Fortunately, Tianji Tower's headquarters and branch palace have 2 diviners, and Taiching Domain's Yi family has 1. At critical times, the old forces are still reliable. Now, one of you come out and perform a divination. I want to know the whereabouts of Supremacy Evil Spirit, Night Sorrow said to the 3 diviners. The Tianji Tower's diviner began the divination, but the image was very blurry. Next, the Yi family's diviner divined, and the image became clear. It was a destructive energy storm area, and there was a cutting array not far from it. C&B Original Chapter QVC Unspecified Currency $. Very good. I'll reward you with 100 years of cultivation in the Nine Domains World's Heaven Sealing Hall. You can enter at most 3 times, and you can arrange the time of entry yourself. Night Sorrow nodded to the Yi family's diviner. Thank you, Lord Patriarch. The Yi family's diviner bowed to Night Sorrow. All these years, I've spared no effort to support the rise of the forces of the Nine Domains world. However, at critical times, I have to be able to contribute to the Nine Domains world. Let's go. Night Sorrow led the team out after he finished speaking. Yu Yongyu and Xiang Tianding looked at each other. They knew that the Medicine Valley's development wasn't good. The Medicine Valley occupied a large amount of the Nine Domains world's cultivation talents and resources, but its actual ability was much worse than Tianji Tower's or Night Moon's dynasties. Yi Xiling also glanced at Lin Jingyi. She felt that Lin Jingyi's matter had affected Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow, don't you think your words are a bit harsh? Yang Lei, who was beside Night Sorrow, asked. The Nine Domains world's development model itself has problems. Don't you think so? Night Sorrow looked at Yang Lei. Ninth junior sister, 13 isn't just a disciple of the Medicine Valley, nor is he just the Yi family's patriarch. He's also the realm master of the Nine Domains world. He has to consider the development of the entire Nine Domains world. We don't need you to ask about this, Aoi said. After arriving at the destructive storm area, Night Sorrow smiled. I didn't expect this guy to still be hiding in this area. Very good. This time we'll kill him and end this once and for all. Brother 13, how do we fight this time? Tianyu asked. This time it's simple. In order to prevent our people from being attacked and suffering losses, Tianyu, you stay with the main group. If he attacks you, you put your people into your spatial treasure and protect yourselves with Anti-Fei and Yi Mei, Night Sorrow said. What about you? Sikong Chuyu asked worriedly. I'll send my doppelganger in to capture him. My main body will keep an eye on the entire area. Once he comes out, my soul power will lock onto him. He won't be able to escape. After Night Sorrow finished his arrangements, his doppelganger entered the spatial slicing array and began investigating. Chapter 2081. Night Sorrow's main body stayed at the center of the cross-space-time splitter array. His soul power was probing the area. As long as Sovereign Evil Spirit appeared, he could immediately chase after him. His main body was guarding while Night Sorrow's avatar wandered around the space-time array. He began probing the destructive storm area. Wu Lingfei and the others were waiting. They knew that if Sovereign Evil Spirit was in this area, then the problem of calamity would be solved. The difference between Sovereign Evil Spirit's combat power and Night Sorrow's was too great. If Night Sorrow found him, then he would definitely be killed. Night Sorrow searched for a while and found Sovereign Evil Spirit in the circular area. Without the origin pearl of the Evil Spirit world, Sovereign Evil Spirit's probing power was not as strong as Night Sorrow's. Night Sorrow had discovered him, and only when he was very close did he discover him. He wanted to react, but it was already too late. After discovering his target, Night Sorrow waved the blood-chilling evil-slaying spear and started attacking. Because Supremacy Evil Spirit's true body had been killed, his doppelganger's soul had been severely injured. His combat strength couldn't keep up. In just a moment, Night Sorrow's spear pierced through his divine sea. Sovereign Evil Spirit wanted to submit at the last moment, but Night Sorrow's blood-chilling evil-punishing spear had already pierced his spirit sea. It was his soul fluctuations that had transmitted to Night Sorrow's spirit sea. When I told you to submit, you didn't submit. When you wanted to submit, you didn't have the chance. This is fate. Night Sorrow helplessly shook his head. Glancing at Sovereign Evil Spirit's corpse, Night Sorrow left the array area. The battle is over. Now the array masters are working here. Take the array disc and slowly retreat along the array area. Take back all the Holy Spirit stones. It wasn't easy for our 9-domain world to accumulate this much wealth. Half of it is mine. Night Sorrow ordered the array masters. Without the Overlord Evil Spirit, there won't be much danger. Anti-Fei, Tianyu, Night Beauty. You guys lead a team and kill 2 more Evil Spirit Emperors. Based on my estimations, there should be 2 more Evil Spirit Emperors. After killing them, find me at the exit. After saying that, Night Sorrow left. Seeing Night Sorrow leave, Wu Lingfei ordered the teams to split up. Shi, Tianyu, and Yi Mei led the 3 teams and set off. Wu Lingfei's team was mainly made up of disciples of the Medicine Valley. After a day of fighting and camping, the higher-ups of the Medicine Valley gathered together. Peak Masters, last time Night Sorrow talked about the sex problems, but we didn't pay attention to it. In fact, it was really inappropriate. The development of Medicine Valley today was all thanks to Night Sorrow. Relying on Night Sorrow's name and relying on Night Sorrow's resources. But is this fair to the other forces? Yu Yongyu's eyes swept around. No one said anything. Yu Yongyu sighed. Because of Night Sorrow, no one fought with us. Last time, the disciples of Medicine Valley fought with the disciples of Taiching Domain's Yi family, and the Yi family backed down without saying anything. But is this really appropriate? After saying that, Yu Yongyu looked at Bluestone Peak Master, Dai Tongnian. Grand Elder, Tongnian planned to apologize for what happened last time, but the Yi family has already left, Dai Tongnian said. Night Sorrow is the Yi family's patriarch, but everyone, look at the Yi family's style and the rules of the Night Moon dynasty. What right does our Medicine Valley have to be superior to others? Not to mention all of you here, the elders, guardians, and enforcers below, which one of them doesn't flaunt their power? This will only ruin the Medicine Valley's reputation and fortune. Yu Yongyu's expression was colder. He was a little angry. Medicine Valley had indeed changed a little. He thought that the Peak Masters could handle some things themselves, but there was no result. There must be a limit to things. Quickly come up with some development plans and let Night Sorrow see them. The thing people are most afraid of is disappointment, Xiang Tianding said. Wu Lingfei, who was patrolling the camp, nodded in satisfaction when she heard the conversation in Medicine Valley. She was also aware of the Medicine Valley situation. 2 months later, the last Evil Spirit Emperor was killed, and the 9-domain world's tribulation was completely over. The Evil Spirit world began to dissipate, and the 9-domain world began to absorb it. Several teams also returned to the spatial tunnel. Night Sorrow brought everyone back to the 9-domain world. Very good. Everyone has worked hard this time. In addition, the Heaven Sealing Great Hall can also assist in cultivation, just like the Samsara Palace, Heaven Battling Hall, and Heaven and Earth Pavilion in other worlds. As for how to arrange the time, I hope you can come up with a reasonable plan. The Heaven Sealing Great Hall can accommodate 3 people to cultivate at the same time, which is equivalent to 100 years. You can arrange for 300 years of cultivation time, Night Sorrow said to the group of people. After listening to Night Sorrow's words, everyone's face was full of surprise. This was good news. And it was good news for cultivators. UJ6 starter, Marshal Uncle Tai Shu, passed down the order to cancel the certification of the title below King. Rank 8 cultivators who don't have a title can be certified once in 100 years, Night Sorrow said to Tai Shu Yen. Commander, don't worry. I will arrange it well. Tai Shu Yen nodded. After that, Night Sorrow planned to leave. The matter had come to an end. At this time, Gong Xian came to Night Sorrow's side. 13. During this time, I have been the Valley Master of the Medicine Valley. I have not done well enough, and many problems have arisen. I plan to deal with some things before I step down. However, I hope that you can be present when the time comes and support me. Senior, can the two of us go to a restaurant for a drink and then talk slowly? Knight Sorrow looked at Gong Xian and asked with a smile. Of course. Gong Xian nodded. Knight Sorrow and Gong Xian wanted to go for a drink, and the other disciples naturally followed. Yang Lei and Aoi also followed, and they went to a restaurant near the heaven-sealing Great Hall. Junior, are you a little disappointed? Gong Xian asked after drinking a glass of wine. How should I put it? A little. There is no problem with our Taishan Peak. The disciples are strict with themselves, and we did not randomly accept disciples. However, the other peaks of the Medicine Valley are too much. How many disciples do they have? Is there any room for the other forces in the Eastern Xian domain to develop? The previous super forces, what about now? The Nandu sect was an ally of our Medicine Valley, but they were forced to become the Nandu clan. What about the Thunder Rumbling sect? Now that they have closed their doors, the Holy Light religion has not made any noise. In fact, they exist in name only. But does everyone know? Nan Liue, Lei Bao, Lei Zheng, and Ho Jian have all been following me, fighting outside? I really didn't know before. Lei Bao and the others were afraid of making things difficult for me, so they didn't say anything. Now when I see them I feel ashamed. Knight Sorrow took a sip of wine and said, 13. I'm sorry. All these years, we have only been managing the matters of the Taishan Peak. We have not asked about the matters of the other peaks. We have made things difficult for you. Huanan said, his face full of guilt. Since the matter has arisen, then we'll deal with it. If we don't change, then there's nothing I can do. I have the responsibility to take care of senior brother, but I don't have the responsibility to support this large sect's outrageous acts. Yi Shan exhaled. Eldest senior, 13 is in a difficult position. Aoi said. Okay, let me know if there is anything. Knight Sorrow got up and left the restaurant. At the door, Knight Sorrow met Yi Xiling, Tang Chanqian, and Lin Jingyi. Chapter 2082. Knight Sorrow didn't want to communicate with Yi Xiling and the others because he had a piece of information in his hand. It was the information he commissioned Tianji Tower to investigate after he left the Medicine Valley's apprenticeship ceremony. It was a list of the families of the Medicine Valley's disciples. Yi Xiling and the others' families were on it, which made him very disappointed. Seeing Knight Sorrow come out with his two wives, Yi Xiling nodded. After cupping his hands in return, Knight Sorrow left, leaving Yi Xiling, Tang Chanqian, and Lin Jingyi in a daze. None of them were low-level cultivators, so they all had the ability to investigate. Yi Xiling knew that Knight Sorrow must have known they were coming. At this time, when Knight Sorrow left, it was obvious that he didn't want to communicate too much. This was also something that had never happened before. After hesitating for a moment, Yi Xiling still entered the restaurant with her two disciples. Yu Yongyu's 10 disciples were all inside. Seeing Yi Xiling come in with her two disciples, Gong Xian nodded and gestured for Yi Xiling to sit down. Our 0-inch Knight Sorrow, why did you leave so soon after sitting down? Yi Xiling asked. The situation in the Medicine Valley is very serious. Everyone knows this. 13 was also a little angry just now. Who took over the Southern Dipper sect? Which family is suppressing the Thunder Rumbling sect? What about the Holy Light family? You must know that the Thunder Rumbling sect has Emperor Lei Bao, the Southern Dipper sect has half-step Emperor Nan Liue, and the Holy Light religion has Lord of Ho Jian. They have been following 13 everywhere. What right does our Medicine Valley have to suppress them? Gong Xian looked at Tang Chanqian and Lin Jingyi because their families were among them. It's using 13's face to beat people. What is this? Shi Tianlin glanced at Lin Jingyi and stood up because he was dissatisfied. As Shi Tianlin stood up, Hua Nan and the others also stood up. The 13 disciples of Yu Yongyu of Taishan Peak were always on the same side. We'll talk about this when we return to the sect. Some things have made things difficult for 13. As the senior brother of the Valley Master, I feel very bad. Gong Xian also stood up and left the restaurant with his junior brother. There are only so many feelings between people. In the past, Knight Sorrow was very respectful to me and to all of you. But now, It was squandered away. Yi Xiling glanced at Tang Qianqian and Lin Jingyi, then turned and left. She knew that there would be a big disturbance in the Medicine Valley. If it was handled well, then it would be fine. If it was not handled well, then it would be a big problem. Knight Sorrow returned to the castle in the sky. He planned to have some peace and quiet. Besides, Gong Xian said that he was expected to be present when the Medicine Valley was dealing with the problem. Then he must go. Gong Xian was his respected senior. 13. It will be over soon. Don't think too much about it. Yang Lei and Knight Sorrow's other wives came. Lin Piaomiao was also there. She could not participate in the 9-domain world's tribulation, but she had been in the castle in the sky. Ninth senior sister. Look at this. You won't say that. Knight Sorrow took out the information given to him by Tianji Tower and handed it to Yang Lei. Yang Lei and the others took a look. As they read, Yang Lei and Aoi's faces became ugly. There were a lot of things recorded in it. The Southern Dipper sect, Thunder sect, and Holy Light Temple were bullied badly. In addition, the Free and Unfettered sect had already withdrawn from the Eastern Profound Domain. This is too much, Yang Lei said angrily. It's difficult to deal with. I'm a disciple of the Medicine Valley. If it's too serious, it will hurt our relationship. Am I supposed to support Nan Liue, Hou Jian, Lei Bao, and the others to fight back? Knight Sorrow smiled bitterly. It's just that we're giving them too much face. This time, eldest senior brother is going to hold a sect meeting. We'll go back and participate and see what these bastards have to say. If they're not satisfied, then it's simple. Knight Sorrow, inform the 8-Dragon Cauldron to seal off Danding Cliff. Have Qiyue order the Taishan Peak to seal off. Have Nan Liue, Hou Jian, Lei Zhang, and Lei Bao take back their territories. Yang Lei said. Isn't this too radical? Aoi hesitated for a moment and looked at Lin Piaomiao, Dachura, and the others. Don't be radical. Those shitty clans should be dealt with. Apart from Uncle Master Duan's Cloud Sea Peak and Tai Xian Peak, the disciples of the Medicine Valley have their own principles. The disciples of the North Pole Peak, Uncle Master Yan's Cloud Sea Peak and Tai Xian Peak should be disciplined. Which one of them isn't too much? Yang Lei was very angry. I'll think about it and see what's the most appropriate way to deal with it. It's best if it doesn't hurt our reputation. Knight Sorrow sighed. After sighing, Knight Sorrow suddenly smiled helplessly. What's wrong? Lin Piaomiao saw that something was wrong with Knight Sorrow. Eldest senior brother went to Danding Cliff and communicated with the 8-Dragon Cauldron. He hopes to temporarily seal off Danding Cliff. I can't embarrass eldest senior brother, so I've already informed the 8-Dragon Cauldron to seal off Danding Cliff. Knight Sorrow said. Eldest senior brother is angry. I guess no one remembers eldest senior brother's temper after all these years. Back then, how many people knew about eldest senior brother's domineering attitude on the sex arena? Aoi said. She still remembered the scene where Gong Xian fought with Chu Lingxiao for her. See. Other than our Taishan Peak, what other power does Medicine Valley have? Yang Lei snorted coldly. At this time, the Medicine Valley was shaken. First, Danding Cliff was suddenly sealed off, and no one could cultivate there. The Taishan Peak's Peak Master announced in July that the mountain would be sealed off, and no one below the Taishan Peak would be allowed to visit the mountain. The Medicine Valley's elders and protectors, as long as they were from Taishan Peak, were all sent back to Taishan Peak. Because of this, many of the Medicine Valley's higher-ups wanted to see Yu Yongyu. However, Yu Yongyu was no longer at Danding Peak. He had returned to Taishan Peak. He was also from Taishan Peak, and was the former Peak Master of Taishan Peak. The other manager, Xiang Tianding, also didn't want to see anyone. The Tianxian World's Tianding Gate in the Medicine Valley was strictly self-disciplined. There was nothing wrong with it, and he didn't want to participate in the current situation. The higher-ups of Medicine Valley who couldn't find Yu Yongyu and Gong Xian went to find Chu Lingxiao, who was the Deputy Valley Master. It's a big deal. Before I came back, I had a chat with my cousin and her husband, Mo Chen. What happened in the past few years? Chu Lingxiao continued to talk about the misdeeds of the various peaks, as well as the suppression of the Southern Dipper sect, the Thunder Rumbling sect, and the Holy Light sect. No one responded to Chu Lingxiao's words. I just want to ask, without Grand Elder Yi, Which disciple or family of your disciple dared to provoke the Thunder Rumbling sect? To suppress the Southern Dipper sect? Emperor Lei Bao, Lord of Heaven Ho Jian, and Lord of Heaven Liue could crush them. Now that things have come to this, I have nothing to say. The Valley Master is very angry, and Grand Elder Lu won't easily show up because his disciple's face was ruined, Chu Lingxiao said. You don't want to talk? Then I'll say, if you don't give me an explanation, Danding Cliff will be useless in the future. When the Southern Dipper sect, the Thunder Rumbling sect, and the Holy Light sect attack, the Taishan Peak won't care. Since you dared to do this, then you'll have to bear the consequences. Yen Beibei stood up and left the conference hall. Chapter 2083. Sigh. Rome wasn't built in a day, so this matter still needs to be resolved. The main thing is everyone's attitude. Come to me after you've thought it through, and I'll go to Grand Elder Lu and the Valley Master. You don't mind, but I don't want to see the Medicine Valley torn apart. Of course, even if you're all wiped out, the legacy of the Medicine Valley won't be lost. Hua Yunpeng stood up and left the hall. The meeting continued. Those who stayed were responsible people. If they didn't show their attitude, they would be the next unlucky ones. After a while, the group reached a consensus. They asked Chu Lingxiao to call Hua Yunpeng to show their sincerity. Then I'll go and invite Grand Elder Lu and the Valley Master. This matter needs to be resolved. Hua Yunpeng stood up and went to Taishan Peak. Taishan Peak was sealed off, but if the Grand Elder wanted to enter the mountain, the disciples guarding the mountain gate couldn't stop him. Hua Yunpeng found that although the mountain was sealed off, Taishan Peak was still very lively. The disciples were cultivating, and the Taishan Peak even had its own teleportation array. It was as if they were doing their own thing. Hua Yunpeng knew that if the problem wasn't resolved, the Taishan Peak would remain in this state. He wasn't trying to scare people by sealing off the mountain. The Taishan Peak could develop on its own. Besides, everyone knew that the Medicine Valley was famous mainly because of Night Sorrow and Taishan Peak. More than 2/3 of the experts in the Medicine Valley came from Taishan Peak. In the bamboo grove, Hua Yunpeng saw Yu Yongyu, Gong Xian, and the others. Yu Yongyu, Gong Xian, and the others didn't avoid meeting him. After Hua Yunpeng sat down, he told them about the attitude and sincerity of the other peak masters and elders. If that's the case, then let's have a sect meeting to discuss this. If it doesn't work out, then I'll go into seclusion at Taishan Peak. Gong Xian, inform Night Sorrow and your 2 junior sisters to come back. This matter has to be resolved, Yu Yongyu said to Gong Xian. Gong Xian personally went to the city in the sky and invited Night Sorrow, Yang Lei, and Aoi to the Medicine Valley. All the higher-ups of the Medicine Valley were present in the conference hall, and some protectors were also standing outside the hall. Night Sorrow didn't sit on the Grand Elder's seat. He casually sat beside his senior brothers and senior sisters. This made everyone in the Medicine Valley understand that what Night Sorrow really cared about was the Taishan Peak. Nearly 1,000 years had passed, and the Taishan Peak was the most outstanding one. I've mentioned it to you before, but you didn't care. Now that you want to talk about it, let's talk about it. Gong Xian stood up. After a moment of silence, Chu Lingxiao stood up and said, You don't want to talk about it? Then I'll talk about it. The Medicine Valley has been developing rapidly over the years, but I'm still one of the 3 disciples of the Medicine Valley. Disciples are forbidden from randomly accepting disciples. So far, there are only 37 disciples under me. Let's talk about the Chu family. 1,000 years ago, the Chu family wasn't a nameless family. There have always been disciples of the Medicine Valley, and some of them are even by Grand Elder Ye's side. In the past 1,000 years, the Chu family has expanded some businesses, but our territory has only increased by a small city. We're willing to withdraw from this small city. Senior brother Chu, you're exaggerating. Any power or family has to develop in 1,000 years. The Chu family is doing well, and so is Chu Ning. Night Sorrow nodded to Chu Lingxiao. He knew the Chu family's character. Thank you for your affirmation, Grand Elder. What about you? A person must have strength of character. Chu Lingxiao cupped his hands towards Yishang and sat down. Then, some of the higher-ups of the Medicine Valley stood up and talked about their own situation. However, those who could stand up were all upright and disciplined people. The rest of them were a little vague. Gongxian waved his hand and stood up with 2 stacks of information in his hands. Since none of you are willing to talk, then I'll do it. For the past 1,000 years, some disciples of the Medicine Valley have been accepting disciples. Some of the people here have thousands of disciples under them. What's wrong with that? Do you want to spread your reputation and inheritance? You're not even a king. In the current 9 domains world, what kind of reputation and inheritance do you have? After scolding, Gongxian looked at the peak masters and elders of the Medicine Valley. 13. Speaking of which, I'm not suitable to be the Valley Master. Because I've always been concerned about the harmony of the sect, I've always been strict with my juniors and the disciples of the Taishan Peak. I've always been kind to others, but it's useless. Some families didn't have many people 1,000 years ago, but now? They expanded without restraint and became a super family in the blink of an eye. But do they have a foundation? Do they have an emperor or a king? Don't keep quiet. I'm talking about you. Don't you feel embarrassed? Gongxian roared in the end. Well said. Gongxian, please continue. Hua Yunpeng nodded to Gongxian. All this time, I've been working hard on my own cultivation and didn't pay too much attention to the details of the development of the Medicine Valley. I thought that the peak masters and elders could manage their disciples well, but looking at the information in my hands, I'm heartbroken. The Medicine Valley has changed. Of these 2 books, one is about the situation of the high-level disciples of the Medicine Valley, and the other is about the development of some high-level families. Please take a look. Gongxian handed the information to Hua Yunpeng and then began to pass it around. However, some people just passed it around because they were among them. V3 After reading it, no one said anything because the situation was very serious. The Medicine Valley has Night Sorrow, who can protect the Medicine Valley from falling. However, the Thunder Rumbling sect also has an emperor, and there are also people fighting outside. The same goes for the Southern Dipper sect and the Holy Light religion. You have the face to rob other people's territory. Who do you think you are? How many resources did Night Sorrow get back? Is it something we should do? Do we owe you? Helping senior brother is our personal feelings. It's none of your business. Yang Lei's fiery temper was somewhat uncontrollable. A few days ago, some people blamed our Taishan Peak for closing the mountain. If our Taishan Peak wants to close the mountain, who can stop us? You squandered Master's reputation, but our Taishan Peak is not willing to do that. Using Master's reputation to rob the territory of Master's brothers and sisters, aren't you afraid of being poked in the back? July stood up. Night Sorrow, the matter has already happened. We have to find a way to solve it. What do you think? The great elder of the Medicine Valley, who hadn't shown up for a long time, entered the main hall and found a place to sit down on the side of Taishan Peak. Night Sorrow cupped his hands toward the great elder and then closed his eyes to think. Originally, I didn't intend to care about these things, but since I'm here at the sect assembly, I'll share some of my views. First of all, I think that if sects and families want to develop and rise, they need to develop their foundation and level. Unlimited development of the number of people and territory is too superficial. It's like a building on the beach, it will collapse with a gust of wind. From today onwards, the Medicine Valley will not be attacked. I will no longer care about anything in the Medicine Valley. The official document of the Realm Master will soon be issued by the Commander-in-Chief's office. You should first see if the territory that you once occupied can be defended. I, Night Sorrow, have always been cultivating morality. It's impossible for me to protect anyone and bully others. Night Sorrow said. Chapter 2084. Since Grand Elder Yi has made such a decision, won't the Southern Dipper sect, the Thunder Rumbling sect, and the Holy Light Temple attack the Medicine Valley's territory? An elder asked. If you're afraid of a fight now, then don't occupy it in the first place. Don't tell me I'm supposed to be your guard? Don't think that I'm being calculative with you. I can afford the Southern Dipper sect, the Thunder Rumbling sect, and the Holy Light Temple's territory. Just say the word, and I can make the Southern Dipper sect, the Thunder Rumbling sect, and the Holy Light Temple withdraw from the Eastern Xian domain. They'll live better than you. But let me tell you, one day, the Medicine Valley will only be left under the protection of me, Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow looked at the elder he didn't know and was a little angry. There are no disciples in the Medicine Valley who are afraid of a fight. Get out. Yu Yongyu's sleeves shook, and the elder was shaken out of the meeting hall. Grand Elder Yi, are you trying to cut ties with the Medicine Valley? Lin Jingyi stood up and said, Shut up. I've been giving in to you in the past because you're a pitiful person. Who do you think your Lin family is? You dare to occupy the Thunder Rumbling Sect's territory. If you say any more nonsense, I'll kill you without any guilt. Yang Lei pulled out her sword and pointed it at Lin Jingyi. Yi Shang didn't say anything. He didn't remember there being a Lin family in the past. But now, the Lin family was very famous in the eastern Xian region because of their large numbers. In addition, there were some detailed records in the Celestial Peak Tower. One of them had happened in Bamboo Garden City. In Bamboo Garden City, the cultivators who passed by the Valiant Bravery Memorial Archway in Bamboo Garden Village were very respectful. Those who rode on demon beasts would get off on foot, and those who rode on beast carriages would get off. However, the Lin family's disciples didn't want to. This angered the Yi family, and a conflict broke out. MB. Old 9. Yu Yongyu shook his head at Yang Lei. Lin Jingyi, you better behave yourself today. Let me tell you, no one will give you face anymore. Yang Lei looked at Lin Jingyi and threw a sentence at her before sitting down. I've been asleep for 700 years, and you've been messing around for these 700 years. I, Night Sorrow, have an ancestral home in Bamboo Garden Village, and your Lin family almost destroyed it. I don't mind, but I'll think about it. If your Lin family doesn't even give face to my Yi family, will you give face to others? I, Night Sorrow, have always respected the martial uncles, senior brothers and sisters of the Medicine Valley, but what have you done? Do as you see fit. July, Ning Yun. Come to Sky City later. Night Sorrow stood up and left with Yang Lei and Aoi. The road ahead is up to you. It's up to you what you want to do. Yu Yongyu led the people from Taishan Peak out of the meeting hall. After half a day, the commander-in-chief of the 9 regions world announced Night Sorrow's Realm Lord Order. The Realm Lord Order was written by Night Sorrow himself. It was about his own requirements and arrangements. He wouldn't participate in or interfere with any power struggle within the 9 regions world, but because of his background, he would protect Pill Cauldron Mountain and Night Moon's Imperial Court. As for Sky City, he didn't mention it. Whoever had the ability could fight it. The key was who had the ability to fight it, and who had the ability to do so. After issuing the Realm Lord Order, Night Sorrow went to the God-Slaying Team's base in 9 Region City. When Night Sorrow arrived, the members of the God-Slaying Team gathered together. Looking at the brothers in front of him, Night Sorrow bowed. Ho Jian, Liue, Lei Bao, Lei Zhang, it was I, Night Sorrow, who didn't handle things properly and let the Nandu sect, Thunder Rumbling sect, and Holy Light Temple be suppressed. Captain, you think too much. The Nandu clan doesn't fight. It's fine as long as they can maintain their inheritance, Nan Liu said with a smile. It's my responsibility to let the Nandu sect become the Nandu clan. It's the responsibility of the Medicine Valley. If the Nandu clan has any ideas, you can tell me. I'll make some appropriate compensation, Night Sorrow said. Captain, every power has a mix of good and bad members. There are always black sheep. Last time at the Medicine Valley's disciple recruitment ceremony, Nan Kong of the Nandu clan is an example, Nan Liu said. Captain, we didn't say these things because we didn't think it was a big deal. With pressure comes motivation. Now the Thunder Rumbling sect has king and many holy kings. In essence, they have improved a lot, Lei Bao said with a smile. It's the same for Holy Light Temple. I told them that the size of the territory and the number of disciples are not the key to measuring the level of a sect. The key is the foundation and level of the members. Ho Jian said to Night Sorrow. When they heard about the Realm Master's order, they knew what was going on. In fact, they really didn't mind. You're talking about compensation? You're treating us brothers as outsiders. If there really is a crisis of annihilation and we really can't handle it, we'll tell you, because you can shelter us from the wind and rain, Lei Zhang said with a smile. Thank you for understanding me, brothers. I have nothing else to say, Night Sorrow said with a sigh. Night Sorrow stayed in 9 Region City and didn't leave. Then, more news came through the channels of Tianji Tower. These years, Tianji Tower had been developing, but not in the area of power. Instead, they focused on the elites. The various families of Medicine Valley members had taken the initiative to give up their territory and apologize to the Nandu clan, Thunder clan, and Holy Light Temple. Without the support of Night Sorrow and Medicine Valley, these families were *T. If they wanted to fight, they could only take the beating. The reason was there. Medicine Valley's mountain gate wouldn't be attacked, and Night Sorrow wouldn't fight. However, the Nandu clan had Heavenly Lord Nanliue, the Holy Light Temple had Heavenly Lord Ho Jian, and the Thunder clan was even more ruthless. They already had Emperor Lei Bao and Heavenly Lord Lei Zheng. Although the Medicine Valley had Xiang Tianding in addition to Night Sorrow, there were still strong people in the god-slaying team. If Night Sorrow didn't interfere, Nanliue, Ho Jian, Lei Bao, and Lei Zheng would fight for Emperor without a problem. Besides, Xiang Tianding wouldn't help the evildoers. Therefore, the families that were good at fighting for territory weren't stupid. They knew that if they took the initiative, they could still save some face. The patriarch and elders of the Lin family found Lin Jingyi and asked how to deal with it. Lin Jingyi was originally an orphan. Later, she was found by her family. She should have found her family on her own. Then, the Lin family began to develop. Lin Jingyi threw a tantrum at the people from her family. She asked the family to only keep the necessary areas and return the rest to the Thunder clan. The movement in the Eastern Xian domain was very big. It could be said that there was a big reshuffle in hundreds of years. Many of the members supported the reshuffling this time. Those who were affected were only the selfish elders and guardians. The upper echelons and ordinary disciples who truly had the Medicine Valley's best interests at heart, that is, the true cultivators, were not affected much. Night Sorrow received the news but didn't say anything. He hoped that the nine-domain world would have a good environment for development. Currently, the forces in the nine-domain world were very self-disciplined. Only the Medicine Valley was barely satisfactory. After this was settled, the problem wouldn't be big. A month later, the reshuffle was over. The Nandu clan, the Thunder clan, and the Holy Light sect, who didn't want to take over the territory, took back the territory after receiving the notice from Lei Bao and the others. After the reshuffle, Hua Yunpeng, Yu Yongyu, the Great Elder, and Gong Xian came to see Night Sorrow. They told him about the changes in the Medicine Valley. Night Sorrow was very satisfied with the result. Chapter 2085. In other words, Night Sorrow was very disappointed in them and didn't want to have anything to do with them anymore. Night Sorrow still understood the principle of staying away from a petty person. After looking up some information, Night Sorrow knew that Tang Qianqian and Lin Jingyi had some fundamental problems. Some people, some things, if you miss them, you miss them. There will be no more interactions. Lin Jingyi will no longer exist in his world, Lin Jingyi said after leaving Nine Regions City. Senior sister knows that you have always liked him, but back then, you thought that he was too young and his cultivation was too low. He wasn't good enough for you. After you kicked him out, you kicked yourself out of his world. Alright. It's true that you want to improve yourself and develop your family, but we both took the wrong path, Tang Qianqian said. You really don't want to see him? Xue Shi, who was sitting with Night Sorrow, asked with a smile. No. By the way, how's your Silver Devil family? I haven't asked about it all these years, Night Sorrow said. Translator. Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation, it's declined. Currently, only Yi Lingxi and I have the bloodline of the Silver Devil family. Hee. Would you be willing to let Yi Lingxi continue the Silver Devil family? There's no point in talking about it. Everything is fine now, and that's enough. Xue Shi smiled. You're right, but it's up to the child to make her own choice. Also, I'm sorry that I haven't cared enough about you all these years. Don't just focus on cultivating, Night Sorrow said to Xue Shi. I don't have any friends, so when you're cultivating, I'm cultivating to pass the time. Look at my cultivation now. Isn't it great? Xue Shi showed her cultivation. I just want you to live a happy life. Nothing else is important. Maybe we weren't perfect at the beginning, but I really love you now, just like everyone else, said Yishan. You're right. Xue Shi sat beside Night Sorrow and leaned on Night Sorrow. I'm very happy now. I have a husband who loves me and a son who's capable. It would be even better if we could have a few more children. Night Sorrow smiled and didn't say anything else. He knew that Xue Shi was really happy now. The nine-domain world's tribulation was officially over, and the evil spirit world dispersed, becoming nourishment for the nine-domain world, nourishment for its ascension to a greater world. After everything was settled, Knight Sorrow also planned to leave. He could not ignore the matters of the celestial realm. He still had a lot of things to take care of. City Lord Tai Shu, let's not talk about the past. From now on, the nine regions world will develop normally. There are some things that you will have to worry about. Before Knight Sorrow left, he first went to find Tai Shu Yen, Yun Tianlong, Yi Linghuan and the others. Following which, Knight Sorrow led the god-slaying squad to Star Moon City. In Star Moon City, Knight Sorrow was stunned when he saw the green-clothed youth. That was because that was the aura of a golden body Holy Spirit. I'm a golden body Holy Spirit. After eating the pill refined by the heavenly Tao flower, my body has been reborn, said the golden body Holy Spirit, who was already a peak imperial emperor. Very good, that's great. Seeing the golden body Holy Spirit's current appearance, Knight Sorrow was very happy. He knew that the golden body Holy Spirit's previous life was the virtuous king. In this life, Knight Sorrow hoped that he could live a better life. After Knight Sorrow met Lu Qi, he paid a visit to the Qing Emperor. Master, disciple has been busy and did not come to pay a visit. Master, please don't mind. Seeing the Qing Emperor, Knight Sorrow felt a little apologetic. He knew that the Qing Emperor had invested a lot of effort in him. The fact that he had only taken in 2 disciples in his lifetime showed that there was a problem. Master understands you. Master was just like you when he was young. Naturally, it takes time to conquer the world. When you are done and have time, come and accompany Master for tea. Of course, Master might go out one day. You should know that Master is the Emperor. The road is still very long, the Qing Emperor said with a smile. After chatting with the Qing Emperor for a while, Knight Sorrow left. He was not worried about Star Moon City. Lu Qi liked this place and was willing to help Knight Sorrow look after this place. After Knight Sorrow left, Lu Qi appeared at the Qing Emperor's residence. He was anxious to confirm one thing, and that was Knight Sorrow's cultivation. When Knight Sorrow came to find him, he did not pay attention. After Knight Sorrow left, he vaguely felt that Knight Sorrow was an Emperor Tribulation Realm cultivator. After arriving at the Night Moon Villa of the Misty Dynasty, Knight Sorrow led the members of the god-slaying team to rest. Everyone was tired during this period of time. Moreover, the members had been separated for a while. They had just arrived and needed to gather. Knight Sorrow, you have matured. Lin Piaomiao came to the waterside pavilion and pulled Knight Sorrow to sit down. Then, she brewed a pot of tea. Sister Xianer, why do you say that? Knight Sorrow asked with a smile. In the past, you were emotional and lacked rationality. You did things based on your emotions. If the Medicine Valley continues on its original path, you will not be able to support it in the future. Cutting off the rotten branches and leaves may be a little painful, but the tree can still grow normally, Lin Piaomiao said. Then, Lin Piaomiao told Knight Sorrow some things about her era. Her family was unbearable. She watched as her family declined bit by bit. The times were actually like sand being washed away by waves. It is a good thing to change now. It is better than going out of control in the future. Some people in the Medicine Valley think that since you were born in the Medicine Valley, you should do anything for them. They can be lawless because they have no bottom line, Lin Piaomiao said with a smile. It was actually quite difficult to make this decision because I was afraid that Master and Senior brothers would be unhappy. It is not that I, Knight Sorrow, forgot my roots just because I am doing better. It is just that some people have crossed the line to the point where they can no longer restrain themselves. Knight Sorrow sighed. This is the bad side that you see. You also have to pay attention to the good side. How about our Yi family, Night Moon Dynasty? Their strength is recognized as the #1 force in the 9 regions world. They are also the most famous, but they never bully others. Tianji Tower is the same. These years, Tianji Tower has been very self-disciplined. They focus on increasing the strength of their members instead of using connections to develop their forces. This is the good side, Lin Piaomiao said. She felt that the 9 regions world was not bad. Although there were some incidents, the overall situation was very stable and the development was very healthy. Knight Sorrow nodded. He was not disappointed in the 9 regions world because of what happened in the Medicine Valley. It was just a one-sided matter. Knight Sorrow, you might not know. Now, Tianhuang City is not peaceful. The Demon Wing clan often comes to challenge us. Now, they like to play gentlemen's battles, Lin Piaomiao said. What do you mean? I don't really understand. Knight Sorrow was a little confused. It is the battle situation. A few days ago, an emperor of the Demon Wing clan came to challenge us. We could only send our emperor. But because we were not strong enough, 2 of us were killed. Then, the emperor of the Demon Wing clan retreated, leaving us a bunch of disgusting people. Lin Piaomiao said something that Knight Sorrow did not know. Chapter 2086. You don't have any other ideas, do you? Lin Piaomiao looked at Knight Sorrow seriously. She knew that Knight Sorrow was a warmonger deep in his bones. It's not that I have any other ideas. The Nirvana Ocean Bridge is where I cultivate. How can I cultivate if they come to challenge me so often? So, I plan to block the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. If they come, I'll fight. If they don't, I'll cultivate. Knight Sorrow said with a smile. That's true. Your soul power has fused into that world. Cultivating your force there is indeed twice the result with half the effort. You can't give up on that place. Lin Piaomiao nodded. She knew Knight Sorrow's situation very well. While Knight Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao were chatting, Qin Qianjie walked out of the teleportation array. Knight Sorrow was a little surprised. He stood up to greet him. He didn't know what had happened because Qin Qianjie wouldn't have come if there wasn't something. 7th Sect Elder really saw through me. Seeing Knight Sorrow, Qin Qianjie first confirmed Knight Sorrow's cultivation. Since Enforcer Patriarch Qin has come to the ethereal Imperial City, something must have happened in the heavenly desolate city, Yishang greeted. It's nothing. 7th Sect Elder asked me to check your cultivation level. He only found out that there was something wrong with your cultivation level after you left Xingyue City. He didn't confirm it at that time, so he asked me to come. Emperor Tribulation Cultivator. I didn't expect you to reach the Emperor Tribulation Cultivator level. We haven't seen each other for a while. Qin Qianjie's eyes didn't leave Knight Sorrow. Sect Elder Qin, don't look at me like that. I'm not used to it. Come, let's sit down and have some tea. Knight Sorrow invited Qin Qianjie to sit down. If I remember correctly, you haven't reached 1,000 years of lifespan yet. This achievement is really shocking. Qin Qianjie took a sip of tea and said after sitting down. I had no choice. The 9-domain world's tribulation is here. The strongest cultivator in the tribulation is at the peak of the Emperor Tribulation. He can't come out because of the geographical advantage. I can only think of a way to break through and resolve the 9-domain world's tribulation, Yishan explained. When are you going to the heavenly desolate city? I have to go back and pass on the news. The 7th Sect Elder and the Grand Elder are waiting for me. After drinking the tea, Qin Qianjie stood up. I'll go over later. I'll spend the next few days with my brothers. They're pretty tired from fighting the 9 domains world's tribulation. Knight Sorrow said. He did not want to make things so irritable. Everyone had a life to live, and so did the members of the God-slaying team. When Qin Qianjie returned to the heavenly desolate city, he went straight to the 7th Patriarch's residence. At this moment, the Grand Elder was also there. Are you sure? The Grand Elder asked anxiously. It wasn't that the Grand Elder wasn't calm enough. It was just that this matter was very important. It wasn't hard for Monarch Realm to reach Monarch Realm because it was just a small leap. It was all about comprehending the power of heaven and earth. However, it was different from Monarch Realm to Monarch Realm. It was a big leap. It was easy for Monarch Realm cultivators to achieve it, but it was difficult for Monarch Realm cultivators to achieve it. Many people wouldn't be able to take this step in their entire lives. How long did the Heavenly Tao give for the arrival of Monarch Realm cultivators? It was 100 billion years. It meant that the Heavenly Tao said that it would take 100 billion years to reach the Monarch Realm. Difficult. Extremely difficult. In the Celestial Realm, there were only a few Monarch Realm cultivators. They were all the higher-ups of the 100 Races Alliance. The Grand Elder cared about Knight Sorrow's level mainly because Knight Sorrow was a human sovereign. His achievements would affect the human race and the 100 races of the Celestial Realm. I'm sure. He's in Monarch Realm cultivator. His aura is profound and has a very strong pressure. Qin Qianjie gave an accurate answer. What kind of power of heaven and earth did he cultivate to perfection? The Grand Elder asked again. At this time, Qin Qianjie's face was a little red. Grand Elder. His energy doesn't leak out, and all kinds of energy in his body are constantly circulating. I can't be sure. The Grand Elder shook his head. He knew that Qin Qianjie couldn't do this. Night Sorrow's attributes were very high. Not everyone could detect them. If one's cultivation wasn't higher than Night Sorrow's, they would be suppressed. Grand Elder, don't worry. He'll probably come back in a few days. He'll be fine after the 9 regions world's tribulation, Qin Qianjie said. There are new talents in every generation. In this period, he's the leader. The others, the elites of the 100 races, can't compare to him. The Grand Elder's face was full of joy. As long as Night Sorrow entered the monarch realm, he would be happy, even if he couldn't be sure if it was the monarch realm. Night Sorrow stayed in the ethereal imperial city for a few days. He also went to see Wufeng and Songning. The 2 of them were Night Sorrow's friends. Wufeng was his big brother and had helped him a lot. Night Sorrow remembered all this in his heart. He wondered if he should help Wufeng return to his family and settle the grudge with his mother's family. However, Wufeng refused. He wanted to settle these matters himself. This was his responsibility as a son. Night Sorrow promised that as long as Wufeng needed him, he would be there any time. After settling the matters in the ethereal imperial city, Night Sorrow asked the members of the god-slaying team if there was anything else. After confirming that there was nothing else, Night Sorrow left the ethereal imperial city with the god-slaying team and went to Tianhuang City. After arriving at Tianhuang City, Night Sorrow didn't stop at all. He directly took the teleportation array and went to Reincarnation Island. Night Sorrow communicated with Nan Yong, Shi Cheng, Song Jingang, Lin Chuan, Duan Chenshui, and Long Hao. Reincarnation Island went back to normal. 3 Original O version K. When the Grand Elder and the 7 clan elders received the news, Night Sorrow was already at Reincarnation Island's camp. This bastard. He's the transit station of Heavenly Desolate City. He's treating Samsara Island as his base, Lu Qi muttered. He wants to do his job well. While guarding Reincarnation Island, he wants to cultivate quietly. The Grand Elder stood up and walked towards the teleportation array. Lu Qi followed behind. Grand Elder, don't go yet. I'll go to Reincarnation Island to take a look. No need. If this guy doesn't want to stop or stay, we'll go over. The Grand Elder said as he stepped onto the teleportation array. When Night Sorrow returned from patrolling around the stronghold, he saw the Grand Elder and Lu Qi standing outside the teleportation array. Seniors, why didn't you tell me you were coming? Night Sorrow invited the Grand Elder and Lu Qi into the tent. I just wanted to confirm what element you had when you entered the Tribulation Emperor level, but I can't even begin to imagine the result, said the Great Elder with a sigh. He could already see Yi Shan's situation. The Grand Elder discovered that Night Sorrow's destruction attribute will of heaven and earth, as well as the void and space-time grand influence of heaven and earth, were in a perfect state. Oh, it's because of this. I plan to take care of the matters at Samsara Island and then return to Heavenly Desolate City. I plan to stay there for a while. Yi Shan smiled. You'll stay for a while? Lu Qi's eyes were filled with disbelief. Of course. I plan to cultivate on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. Night Sorrow explained. Chapter 2087. Nirvana Ocean Bridge. Nirvana Ocean Bridge is not suitable for others, but it suits you the most. However, the Demon Wing Clan has been restless recently and has challenged us several times. I'm afraid it will delay your cultivation, the Grand Elder said. It doesn't matter. My true body will cultivate in the back while my doppelganger will block the front. I will kill whoever comes. Of course, the 7th Elder and the Grand Elder will have to deal with those with high cultivation, Night Sorrow said with a smile and explained his plan. They won't dare. If their high-level cultivators attack you, then we won't accept their challenge. We will kill whoever comes. There will be no rules, the Grand Elder said. Lu Qi also nodded. There were rules for a battle. Because of the rules, the Demon Wing Clan cultivators dared to challenge in front of the Heavenly Wasteland City. If there was no bottom line to the battle, they would not be able to return. Night Sorrow, you have to go back early. There are many experts in the younger generation of the Demon Wing clan. Our monarchs can't defeat them. We will have to rely on your god-slaying team, Wuxia said. Okay, I will go back in 2 or 3 days. This time, they are not allowed to challenge me casually. I will block them and let them challenge me, Knight Sorrow said. After hearing Knight Sorrow's decision, the Grand Elder and the 7th Elder left satisfied. They got the answer they wanted and also got the news that Knight Sorrow was going to fight. This made them very happy. The elites of the Demon Wing clan still brought pressure to the Heavenly Desolate City. The Demon Wing clan sent out their disciples who were good at different things. The Heavenly Desolate City didn't have any specific targets, so the failure rate was very high. When the Heavenly Desolate City understood, the opponent would withdraw and replace them. If Yishang were to fight, there would be no need to worry about this because the Great Elder and Wuxia knew that everyone in Tianhuang City knew that Yishang had no shortcomings and was good at everything. Hee. This time those two fellows are happy. With your appearance, the Demon Wing clan's strategy this time will be ineffective. However, this king has 2 words to remind you. The Golden Dragon King appeared beside Knight Sorrow. Senior Golden Dragon King, please speak your mind. I, Knight Sorrow, will definitely remember your words. Knight Sorrow turned around and looked at the Golden Dragon King. Fighting against the demon-winged race is different from fighting against the 100 races of the celestial realm. What we seek is to kill. If you want to go to the Nirvana Ocean Bridge to block people, then every battle must end quickly and not give the enemy a chance to understand you. This way, you will be able to stand on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge for a longer period of time, the Golden Dragon King said. Knight Sorrow cupped his hands toward the Golden Dragon King. He knew that this was priceless advice. Seeing that the matter of Samsara Island was on the right track, Knight Sorrow brought his clones of his wives, Lin Chuan, Long Jin, and Tianyu back to Heavenly Wasteland City. Without informing anyone, they arrived at the city gate of the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. In the past, the city gate was wide open. The practitioners of Heavenly Wasteland City could see the Nirvana Ocean Bridge at any time and see the road to the demon-winged race. In addition, Knight Sorrow's bloody path back also inspired the practitioners of the 100 races of the celestial realm. However, at this time, the city gate of the Nirvana Ocean Bridge was closed. This was because the elites of the demon-winged race often came. If the gate was not closed, they would be attacked by the other party. Samsara Island. Knight Sorrow is going to fight. Open the gate. Knight Sorrow shouted toward the city gate. The Heaven Wasteland army guarding the gate was stunned. They could not decide whether to open the gate or not because it was the order of the Assembly of Elders to close the gate. Open the gate. At this time, Emperor Tang, who was patrolling, ordered the Heaven Wasteland army guarding the gate. With the activation of the formation, the gate of Heavenly Wasteland City opened. Standing in front of the city gate, Knight Sorrow turned around and said to Long Jin, Lin Chuan and the others, "Do what you need to do. I don't think I will be back for a while. If you have nothing to do, go back to Samsara Island to take a look. Nothing can go wrong there." Then, Knight Sorrow left the city gate and walked toward the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. After leaving the city gate for some distance, Knight Sorrow looked up at the sky. He reached out his right hand and grabbed the Samsara halberd. Then, he inserted it into the ground beside him. Then, the energy on his body vibrated and a series of afterimages appeared. It was the clone carrying the blood-Qilin evil-slaying spear. He continued to walk forward. After walking for 200 miles, Knight Sorrow's clone sat down cross-legged. If the commander wants to accept a challenge, he can't do without an assistant to communicate with the opponent. I, Lin Chuan, will do this job. After speaking, Lin Chuan took out a pile of refining materials from his storage ring. Then, flames appeared on his body and melted the materials into a large rectangular sign. He waved his right hand and carved the word, "Battle" on the sign. Then he flew to a distance behind Knight Sorrow's clone and threw the sign into the air. He inserted it into a protruding rock on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge beside Knight Sorrow. "Commander, do you like it?" Lin Chuan shouted. "Good, beautiful." Knight Sorrow stretched out his left hand and gave a thumbs up. "Captain, you don't have to speak. Just focus on the battle. We will take care of the rest." Long Jin also appeared and stood beside Lin Chuan behind Knight Sorrow. "Haha. Okay, but you don't have to suffer with me. You two go back first. Come down when the opponent comes." Night Sorrow waved at Long Jin and Lin Chuan. He was indeed very happy. This was what brothers were like. How about this? Long Jin, you go back first. Come and take my place later. We have to leave Yen alone to accompany the commander, Lin Chuan said. Okay. Long Jin threw a jar of wine to Night Sorrow and Lin Chuan each and left. Night Sorrow nodded at Lin Chuan and sat down cross-legged. The blood Qilin evil vanquishing spear was placed across his knees. One initial, I, Commander, if the Emperor comes, don't send them back. Can I make them stay? Lin Chuan said to Night Sorrow. I knew you would have thoughts. It's not that you can't do it, but you have to listen to orders. If I tell you to fight, you fight. If I tell you to retreat, you can't be vague. This is not a joke, Night Sorrow said to Lin Chuan. Lin Chuan nodded. He wanted to fight. As for orders, he believed in Night Sorrow's. While the doppelganger and Lin Chuan talked, Night Sorrow's main body entered a state of cultivation and began to cultivate Shi. When an Emperor's Tribulation cultivator reached perfection, they would enter into the cultivation of their own Shi. Unlike an Emperor's Tribulation cultivator, one was the external Shi of the world and the other was the release of their own Shi. The Grand Elder and Lu Qi knew that Night Sorrow had returned. The two of them went to the top of the city gate. This guy is still impatient. This is good. However, I can't leave. Night Sorrow has already been listed in the Demon Wing race. When they see Night Sorrow fight, they can't use any underhanded methods. Chapter 2088. You don't have to worry. It's almost impossible for cultivators of the same level to defeat or kill Yi Shang. As for those whose cultivation is higher than Yi Shang's, even if they want to attack, we won't allow it. The Great Elder said to Lin Piaomiao and the others. Lin Piaomiao and the others nodded. They believed in Night Sorrow, but they were worried that the other party would use underhanded means. Now that the Grand Elder was here, they were relieved. Elder 7, make arrangements later to hand over this gate to the Humanitarian League. Piaomiao, you have to guard this place. I'll hand it over to you for convenience. When it's not needed, you can hand it over to the Heaven Wasteland Army, the Grand Elder said to Lu Qi and Lin Piaomiao. Night Sorrow's original body felt the feeling of being one with the world and began to cultivate. His doppelganger and Lin Chuan chatted. Night Sorrow even talked about how he went to the constellation world in fear. Lin Chuan also said that the situation of the White Tiger race wasn't very good these years. There weren't many of them in the constellation world. The days passed peacefully, but Night Sorrow returned to the Heaven Wasteland City with the cultivation of the Emperor Tribulation. This was because Night Sorrow's cultivation and virtue were enough to be a law enforcement patriarch. It should be known that the law enforcement patriarch held a high position in the 100 Races Patriarch Assembly. There were discussions, but the Lord of the Heaven Wasteland City didn't show up. The Grand Elder didn't say anything and didn't convene the Patriarch Assembly. Things were still very peaceful. However, because the gate of the Nirvana Ocean Bridge was opened again, the Heaven Wasteland Army and some elites who were selected to develop in the Heaven Wasteland City came to the gate to watch the bloody footprints. However, their attention wasn't on the bloody footprints at the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. They were paying attention to the figure standing in the storm of Nirvana. Night Sorrow stood on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. His body was just like the Samsara halberd in his right hand. In the eyes of the cultivators, he was a divine weapon standing between heaven and earth. Many of the cultivators who came to watch did not understand what Night Sorrow was cultivating. His comprehension of the worldly momentum was not like Night Sorrow's. After cultivating for half a month and having some thoughts, Night Sorrow waved his left hand and summoned the Haotian Godly Pagoda. He smashed it into the Nirvana Ocean Bridge and then landed on top of it to begin his time-accelerated cultivation. Night Sorrow didn't place the clear sky Godly Pagoda high up. Instead, he placed it in the sea so that he could receive the full impact of the Nirvana Ocean in the sky. This time, Night Sorrow's train of thought became clearer and clearer. In the past, when he was cultivating, his level was not high enough so he could feel it in advance. After all, he had not reached this level yet. 20 days later, the Demon Wings clan appeared. It was not a single Demon Wings clan member, but a team. The leader was an Emperor Tribulation cultivator, and there were emperors and emperors in the team. Sensing their arrival, Night Sorrow's clone and Lin Chuan stood up. If there was going to be a battle, they would accept it. Sensing the arrival of the Demon Wing clan, the members of the 100 Races Alliance at the gate of the Nirvana city of Heaven Wasteland all stood up, because a battle was about to break out. At the same time, the Heaven Wasteland army and cultivators who had come to watch Yishang's battle at the gate also spread the news. Therefore, more and more people gathered at the city gate. Lin Chuan stretched his waist and walked forward. He walked to Night Sorrow's side and said, "Since they're here, let's start the battle. How do you think we should fight?" Long Jin heard Lin Chuan's words and slapped his thigh. "I knew it. It's not worth it to come back first." With that, Long Jin flashed to Lin Chuan's side. "Seems like you're prepared," the leader of the Demon Wings clan said. He was an Emperor Tribulation cultivator, just like Night Sorrow. "That's right. If you want a battle, we'll accept it. We have an Emperor Tribulation, 3 Emperor's Tribulation, and Emperor Tribulation. You can choose any of the 3 levels. If you can't do it, go back," Lin Chuan said. Long Jin smiled at Lin Chuan. "Brother, you're so generous." Z Yong Pgio free equals asterisk look at small j. "Of course. Since you're here, we have to fight together. We can't leave you behind." Lin Chuan nodded. After nodding to Long Jin, Lin Chuan pointed at a member of the Demon Wings clan. Since you don't have a 3 Emperor Tribulation cultivator, a 4 Emperor Tribulation cultivator is fine too. Do you dare to fight me?" "Ignorant boy, you're courting death. Last time we killed emperors. This time, it's the Emperor Tribulation cultivator's turn. Perhaps the higher-ups of the Celestial Wasteland City will feel the heartache." The member of the Demon Wings clan that Lin Chuan pointed at stood out. They were here to kill and destroy the morale of the cultivators of the Celestial Realm. Naturally, they wouldn't avoid a battle. "Lin Chuan, ask for his name." "Our god-slaying team doesn't kill nameless people," Long Jin said to Lin Chuan. "Demon Wings clan, Star King tribe. Mo Xinglia." The 4 Emperor Tribulation cultivator of the Demon Wings clan took a few steps forward and said, "As expected, the elites of the Celestial Wasteland City's 100 King tribe are here. It seems like the Demon Wings clan has already made some arrangements and plans," the Grand Elder muttered from the top of the Nirvana City's gate. In the previous few battles, both sides didn't communicate and fought immediately. Therefore, the Assembly of Elders didn't know some information. "Come." Lin Chuan unsheathed the battle blade in his hand and looked at Mo Xinglia. "And who are you?" Mo Xinglia looked at Lin Chuan. "There's no need to tell you because you're going to be a dead man soon. However, in order to let you know who killed you, I'll tell you. I'm Lin Chuan of the White Tiger clan." Lin Chuan took a few steps forward. Night Sorrow held the Blood Kirin Evil Slayer in his hand. He had confidence in Lin Chuan, but he had to be careful of unexpected situations. Mo Xinglia walked out and waved his battle blade at Lin Chuan at an extremely fast speed. Speed was also Lin Chuan's forte. He rushed forward and slashed with a battle blade in his hand. "Lin Chuan, they aren't important figures. There's no need to test them. Just kill them." Night Sorrow shouted when he saw that Lin Chuan's speed and attack strength were all reserved. This was also a reminder from the Golden Dragon King. After hearing Night Sorrow's shout, Lin Chuan's aura changed. The battle blade in his hand was covered with stripe-shaped energy. It was the power of slaughter. His speed had also increased. It was the Western White Tiger kill. Lin Chuan and Mo Xinglia were both very fast and instantly completed a collision. As the collision ended, Mo Xinglia's expression changed. Lin Chuan's attack power was too strong. He was at a disadvantage in one move. After defeating Mo Xinglia in one move, Lin Chuan's aura erupted. The White Tiger Phantom appeared behind him and attacked Mo Xinglia. The battle was intense. Mo Xinglia's pair of flesh wings kept trembling as he dodged Lin Chuan's attack. "Go to hell." At this moment, the White Tiger Phantom behind Lin Chuan condensed and turned into a substantial energy attack that pounced towards Mo Xinglia. This was an ultimate skill that he could only use after entering the Emperor Tribulation. During the Heaven List competition, he couldn't use it. Mo Xinglia wanted to dodge, but Lin Chuan's move was too fast. He was sent flying by the White Tiger's energy. When Mo Xinglia's body flew uncontrollably, a blade light flashed and cut his body into 2 from head to toe. Chapter 2089. Mo Xinglia was dead, but the Devil Wing Race members didn't make a move. They were clear that they were the ones who started the gentlemen's fight. If they didn't follow the rules, no matter how many people came, they wouldn't dare to come again. Great Commander, Lin Chuan has completed the mission. Lin Chuan stood in his original position. Very good. You rest for a while. You won't accept any challenges today. Knight Sorrow said to Lin Chuan. Yes. Although Lin Chuan still wanted to fight, he had to obey Knight Sorrow's orders. Besides, this was what he promised Knight Sorrow. After Lin Chuan was done, Long Jin stood beside Knight Sorrow and said, "Captain, can I play too?" "Sure." Looking at the two emperors, Knight Sorrow nodded. Although the two members were both peak emperors, Knight Sorrow noticed that the energy in their bodies didn't surpass Long Jin's. Long Jin took 2 steps forward and held the ocean wave blade in his hand. "If you want to fight with me, tell me your name. Although it's a dead man's name, we don't kill nameless people." Very arrogant. The Devil Wing Race leader snorted. He was a member of the Devil Wing Race's Dark King tribe. Mo shouting. The Dark King tribe was one of the top tribes in the 100 King tribe. We have the qualifications to be arrogant. You guys were able to show off earlier because our reincarnation island didn't return. Our god-slaying team wasn't here. Otherwise, you guys wouldn't be birds. Long Jin sneered. 5R8Y. Hearing Long Jin's words, Tianyu wasn't satisfied. They aren't even birds. Hearing Tianyu's words, although the atmosphere was tense, Lin Piao Miao and the others all laughed. What kind of bird temper is that? Yang Lei glanced at Tianyu. "Ninth senior sister. I have a bird temper." Tianyu replied softly. If others said it, he could still explode. However, if Yang Lei and the others said it, he couldn't get angry. They were all people he respected. "All right. You win." Yang Lei shook her head helplessly because Tianyu was telling the truth. While Tianyu was talking with Yang Lei and the others, the battle on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge started. Long Jin and one of the other emperors started fighting. In the beginning, they were evenly matched. Then, the Golden Dragon transformed and used his blade skills to suppress the opponent. In just a short moment, the opponent was killed. "Not bad, come back and rest." Knight Sorrow waved at Long Jin. Nodding at Knight Sorrow, Long Jin returned to the side behind Knight Sorrow and stood together with Lin Chuan. Seeing Long Jin come back, Lin Chuan and Long Jin bumped their palms together. "Let me tell you about the situation first. Just now, my 2 brothers played with you. Now it's my turn. I'll be standing here. If you want to go to the desolate Sky City, then defeat me first. As for cultivation, I'm an Emperor Tribulation. You can make the arrangements. However, I'll tell you in advance that I've arranged a chance for you. If you want to go in without cultivation, then don't say I didn't follow the rules if you get killed." Knight Sorrow said. "Then I'll kill you first." Mo shouting walked out with his blade. "You don't have the right to kill me. I didn't want to know your name, but my brother wants to know. He wants to carve it as a souvenir. Then, tell me your name." Knight Sorrow glanced at Lin Chuan, who was carving his name on the metal plate. Lin Chuan had divided the plate into 4 rows. Emperor Tribulation, Emperor Tribulation, Emperor Tribulation, Emperor Tribulation. At the Emperor Tribulation area, there was a record of Lin Chuan killing Mo Xinglia. At the Emperor Tribulation area, there was a record of Long Jin's battle record. "I'm Mo shouting of the Dark King tribe of the Demon-Winged clan. Even if you die, you'll know who your creditor is." Mo shouting dragged his blade and walked towards Knight Sorrow. Mo shouting swung his battle saber when he was still 300 feet away from Yi Shang. An astral saber slashed towards Yi Shang. Knight Sorrow's body flashed, using Void Step and Space-Time Realm at the same time. After dodging the astral blade, he reappeared in front of Mo shouting. Then, the forbidden Samsara domain erupted and started suppressing Mo shouting. Next, he used the destructive True Dragon incantation. After his attack missed, Knight Sorrow's body disappeared and reappeared. Mo shouting's expression changed. Just as he wanted to speed up and retreat, Knight Sorrow's forbidden Samsara domain suppressed him. He couldn't increase his speed anymore. At this time, Knight Sorrow's blood-chilling evil vanquishing spear stabbed out. The blood Qilin evil vanquishing spear carried a black halo that rippled in all directions, enveloping Mo shouting. Break! Mo shouting's domain power spread out in all directions as he swung his blade towards the blood Qilin evil vanquishing spear. However, Night Sorrow didn't fight Mo shouting head-on. He used Void Step to move his body, and the blood Qilin evil vanquishing spear continued to stab towards Mo shouting from the side. Mo shouting's body turned, and his blade blocked again. However, due to the negative effects of the reincarnation true dragon incantation, his blade technique was much slower. Go to hell! Night Sorrow's right hand shook, and a shockwave burst out, knocking away Mo shouting's blade that was blocking his blood Qilin evil vanquishing spear. Then, the blood Qilin evil vanquishing spear sped up and stabbed into Mo shouting's chest. Next, a shockwave burst out, and the reincarnation energy began to destroy Mo shouting's body. Mo shouting's body stopped moving. The reincarnation energy was too overbearing, and it was on a level that surpassed any other energy. It was much more overbearing than the void and destruction energy. The constant shockwaves destroyed the meridians in Mo shouting's body. Night Sorrow's right arm shook, and the blood Qilin evil vanquishing spear stabbed again, piercing through Mo shouting's forehead and destroying his spirit sea. His left hand sucked, and Mo shouting's weapon and storage ring were put away. Night Sorrow kicked Mo shouting's corpse in front of the Demon Wing Clan's team. You're not my match. Go back and report this to your higher-ups. I'm a First Emperor Tribulation Cultivator, and I'll accept any First Emperor Tribulation Cultivator from your Demon Wing Clan. Remember, the gentleman's battle was issued by you, so don't be a coward and let us look down on you. The members of the Demon Wing Clan's team were shocked because Night Sorrow was too strong. They hadn't expected him to kill Mo shouting with just 3 spear strikes. They glanced at Night Sorrow, but didn't dare to ask for his name. The Demon Wing Clan's members took the 3 corpses and left. They had to report this to their higher-ups. Seeing the Demon Wing Clan's team leave, Lin Chuan and Long Jin roared. Great! Long Jin patted his chest. Not bad. We're lacking an Imperial Emperor now. It would be great if we had a strong one, Night Sorrow said. Currently, Night Sorrow, Lin Chuan, and Long Jin represented the 3 levels, and the Imperial Emperors on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge could travel. Therefore, the Celestial Realm's 100 races still lacked Imperial Emperors. The Demon Wing Clan's team left with 3 lives. Roars came from the top of Nirvana City's gate, and it was the same at the city gate. Because there were many people watching, Night Sorrow and the other 2 killed almost without any suspense. Chapter 2090. The Great Elder's heart calmed down because Yi Shang's strength proved that there was no problem. He could easily kill a First Emperor Tribulation Realm cultivator of the Demon Wing Clan. His opponent was simply not on the same level as him. The Demonic Winged Clan retreated, and Night Sorrow and the other 2 began to drink. After drinking a cup of wine, Long Jin said, Captain, we need to find a powerful Celestial Emperor. To be honest, the Celestial Emperor of the God-Slaying Squad is not bad, but he's not strong enough yet. Yes, the members of the God-Slaying Squad are outstanding. The one we need to fight now must be the most outstanding cultivator of the same level. They're not good enough, but there's one more suitable. However, I need to ask for his opinion on this matter, Night Sorrow said. Chapter G. The most V/new chapter. B on B carat. Who is it? Long Jin asked. He knew all the people around Night Sorrow. None of the Celestial Emperors had outstanding battle prowess. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and said, Xiao Gu from Star Moon City. He's at the peak of the Celestial Emperor realm. How about this? Your main body or clone can bring him to 9 Region City to find me. I'll talk to him. We won't force this matter. Long Jin nodded and went to handle this matter. His clone had followed Night Sorrow to Tianhuang City. His main body was at Reincarnation Island. His main body could go to Star Moon City now. Not long after, Night Sorrow's 9 clones in 9 Region City met Xiao Gu, who Long Jin had brought. Night Sorrow explained the situation to Xiao Gu. Lord Realm Lord, you're too polite. I don't know what happened in my previous life, but since I have a body of merit, I must have contributed greatly to the Celestial Realm in my previous life. In this life, I'll follow in my footsteps. Xiao Gu nodded. He addressed Night Sorrow as Realm Lord just like everyone in Star Moon City. Good. How about this? You go to Reincarnation Island with Long Jean and train with the members of the God-slaying squad for a while. Then, Long Jean will bring Xiao Gu to Tianhuang City. Night Sorrow made the arrangements. Long Jean nodded and brought Xiao Gu to Reincarnation Island. Xiao Gu was outstanding in all aspects, but Night Sorrow was not at ease with her combat experience. On the Nirvana Ocean Bridge, Night Sorrow and the other two were chatting excitedly. Which youth wasn't frivolous? Although the three of them weren't youths, they were the youngest cultivators in the group of cultivators who couldn't be any younger. Is Lu Qi envious of them? Who could seize the peak of a horse with a sword in hand? We couldn't compare to them back then. The Grand Elder looked at the three people on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge and said. When Mo Zhantian received the news, his expression changed. All three of them are very strong? Not three. One of them is from the dragon's race, one is from the white tiger race, and the strongest is from the human race. The pale-faced Mo Shouting spoke. Mo Shouting had sent his clone to fight, and now, his main body was reporting to Mo Zhantian. Human. You only took 3 moves? The first sovereign tribulation. When did they have such a cultivator? Clairvoyant, rewind the scene. Mo Zhantian ordered the clairvoyant. When the clairvoyant rewound the scene, Mo Zhantian's expression turned cold. He recognized Night Sorrow. Bastard! Mo Zhantian waved his hand and smashed a stone pillar in the hall. Night Sorrow's existence was like a fishbone stuck in his throat. Moreover, Night Sorrow's strength had risen too quickly. Gather everyone. Gather all the members of the First Sovereign Tribulation. Even if we have to risk our lives, we have to defeat him. He is our demon-winged clan's obstacle to conquering the celestial realm. We have to get rid of him. Mo Zhantian said. Hearing Mo Zhantian's words, the demon-winged clan began to move. Not only the original members of the Demon Imperial City, but all the members of the First Sovereign Tribulation of the 100 Kings tribe also moved. Soon, close to 40 cultivators of the First Sovereign Tribulation gathered in the Demon Imperial Palace. You are all the elites of the demon-winged clan. Under normal circumstances, I don't want any of you to be injured. However, I have to make a decision now. We still have an era. When the new Supreme World appears, the Celestial Realm will be reincarnated into a secondary Supreme World, and our Heaven Wasteland domain will be destroyed. One era, we only have one era. Therefore, even if there are losses, you have to bear them. Next, use the self-destructive battle method to destroy the human sovereign of the 100 clans in front of you. The first step is to destroy his clone and destroy his future. Mo Zhantian gave the battle order. Then, Mo Zhantian made the tactical arrangements. The mid-level First Sovereign Tribulation cultivators would fight to the death with Night Sorrow. If they failed, they would self-destruct. Even if they couldn't destroy Night Sorrow's clone, they had to severely injure Night Sorrow and give the people behind a chance. In addition to the First Sovereign Tribulation cultivators of the Demon-Winged Clan, the Peak Emperor Realm members of the Demon-Winged Clan had also gathered. This didn't mean that the Celestial Realm wasn't good enough. Heaven Wasteland Domain had developed one more supreme world than the Celestial Realm. The time between the beginning of the reincarnation cycle and the destruction of the reincarnation cycle was more than 1,000 cycles, which was double the time. In terms of foundation, the Celestial Realm was more than twice as strong as the Celestial Realm. The 100 races of the Celestial Realm had their heyday. However, they didn't break into the Demon Imperial City and didn't fight on Heaven Wasteland Domain. Therefore, Heaven Wasteland Domain wasn't harmed at all. Heaven Wasteland Domain wasn't affected by the flames of war. This was because the Demon-Winged Clan once had an expert who almost passed the God-destroying tribulation. His head became a big city, an impregnable city. When the dense crowd of Devil Wing Clan members appeared on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge under Mo Zhantian's lead, the 3 of them jumped in fright. The other side's formation was too large, and there were too many of them. It didn't look like a gentleman's battle at all. Instead, it looked like a one-on-one battle. The Grand Elder and the 7 Sect Elders also stood behind Night Sorrow and the other 2. Mo Zhantian, are you trying to bring forward the battle? Then the 100 races of the Celestial Realm will accompany you. The Great Elder turned around and glanced at the illusory figure that appeared above the city gate. He then looked at Mo Zhantian and said. Mo Zhantian also looked at the illusory figure above the city gate. It was the energy clone of the City Lord of Heaven Wasteland Domain, Tran Hung, I'm here to watch my subordinates engage in a gentleman's battle. Are you afraid to accept, or are you afraid? Mo Zhantian snorted coldly. All right. If you don't play by the rules, we won't hold back either. The Grand Elder replied. Then, he waved his hand and a chair appeared. He sat down on the Heaven Wasteland Ocean Bridge. Bring a few more chairs. The Grand Elder turned around and shouted. Who's Night Sorrow? Come out and die. At this moment, a First Emperor Tribulation cultivator from the Demon-Winged clan stepped forward and shouted. Damn it! There's really someone in a hurry to die. Lin Chuan cursed. The rules are here. If you want to fight, then leave your name. If you don't have a name, don't come out and embarrass yourselves, Longjin said. Demon-Winged clan's Nether King tribe, Mo Yicheng. The First Emperor Tribulation cultivator reported his name. Lin Chuan, prepare to carve your name. Night Sorrow raised his blood-Qilin evil-slaying spear and took a few steps forward. Since the other party was here, Night Sorrow was ready to fight. He would kill as many as there were. Chapter 2091. Mo Yicheng stepped forward and pointed his blade at Night Sorrow, his body full of murderous intent. Heaven Wasteland domain often had wars. The Demon-Winged clan was a fighting race, but they were very united against outsiders. In addition, when the Demon-Winged clan was at a critical juncture of life and death, they had no choice but to fight to the death. After Night Sorrow took a step forward, the blood-Qilin evil-slaying spear spread out, and the energy in his body began to circulate. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation, go to hell. Mo Yicheng rose into the air and slashed his blade at Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow's body flashed, and then he rushed forward. The blood-Qilin evil-slaying spear displayed the reincarnation true dragon art and stabbed at Mo Yicheng's blade. At this time, Mo Yicheng's blade changed its path, avoiding the attack of Night Sorrow's blood-Qilin evil-slaying spear and slashing at Night Sorrow's head. He planned to exchange injury for injury, to trade life for life. Seeing this scene, Night Sorrow smiled. Exchanging injury for life? He was not afraid of such a thing. He continued to rush forward, the blood-Qilin evil-slaying spear still stabbing at Mo Yicheng's chest. Both of them had chosen to fight to the death. The Demon-Winged clan is not afraid of death. With a low roar, a net-like energy line appeared on Mo Yicheng's body, sealing off the surroundings. He wanted to trap Night Sorrow, so that Night Sorrow could not dodge and could only fight according to the current situation. In fact, Night Sorrow had no intention of dodging, and his body was rapidly approaching Mo Yicheng. Because of the negative effects of the reincarnation true dragon art, Mo Yicheng could not escape the current situation. Affected by Night Sorrow's secret technique, the reincarnation true dragon art, Mo Yicheng's soul power burst out in all directions to maintain his consciousness and the power of his blade as he continued to slash at Night Sorrow. Rip! Mo Yicheng's protective armor was pierced by Night Sorrow's blood-Qilin evil-slaying spear, and the fluctuations of the blood-Qilin evil-slaying spear directly destroyed the insides of Mo Yicheng's body. Mo Yicheng poured all the energy in his body into the blade and slashed at Night Sorrow's head. He wanted to kill Yi Shang. As for the clone, he didn't care if it was destroyed. As long as this sure-kill strike could kill Yi Shang, it would be enough, even if it was severely injured. At this moment, Night Sorrow's left hand, which was glowing with a golden light, reached above his head. Then, he grabbed Mo Yicheng's saber and took the full blow of Mo Yicheng's saber before his body was destroyed. Blood-Qilin's evil-slaying spear, and Mo Yicheng's head. Then he swung the spear and spear, and left spear left his storage ring spear. And of the spear he left his spear, Sorrow's spear in his blade-slaying spear. Mo Yicheng, a First Emperor Tribulation cultivator from the Demon Wings clan. He died under Yi Chang's spear in Tianhuang City. Lin Chuan shouted. Then he carved Mo Yicheng's name under Mo Shouting's name. Taking a few steps back, Night Sorrow threw Mo Yicheng's storage ring and weapon to the Grand Elder. I will continue to fight. Grand Elder, please refine the imprint. The Grand Elder smiled and nodded. He was very happy and satisfied. What did it mean to be clean and tidy? Night Sorrow was clean and tidy. In one clash, He had easily finished off his opponent. Moreover, it was a battle of attrition. Let's go next. Fight. Let's fight to our heart's content. Knight Sorrow waved his blood-chilling evil-slaying spear and declared war on the Devil Wing clan. There were rules in the gentleman's battle. At this time, Knight Sorrow had just fought, so he could choose not to fight. At this time, it was Knight Sorrow who wanted to fight. He wanted to deal a heavy blow to the Devil Wing clan and extinguish the Devil Wing clan's aggressive momentum. Emo Zhengyuan, I will fight you. Another member of the Devil Wing clan stood out. Come. Knight Sorrow's body flashed, and he charged towards Emo Zhengyuan. Remember this lord's words. Emo Zhangtian reminded Emo Zhengyuan. He meant that if he couldn't defeat Knight Sorrow, he would self-destruct. He had to deal with him, even if it meant sacrificing his life. After watching the battle between Knight Sorrow and Emo Yicheng, Emo Zhengyuan knew that Knight Sorrow's left hand's defense was very strong. Therefore, he avoided the cause of Emo Yicheng's defeat and directly fought with brute force, displaying all his strength. However, because of Knight Sorrow's speed, Emo Zhengyuan's attacks all missed. Go to hell! Since he couldn't attack Knight Sorrow, he couldn't see any hope of defeating Knight Sorrow. Emo Zhengyuan thought for a moment and circulated his energy to his dantian, preparing to self-destruct. Noticing this, Knight Sorrow naturally understood what was going on. He used the soul attack soul extinguishing slash and slash towards Emo Zhengyuan. At the same time, he added in the illusion attack. Ever since he cultivated the variant soul extinguishing slash, this was the first time Knight Sorrow used it in a one-on-one battle. Emo Zhengyuan's soul defense blocked the soul extinguishing slash, but the illusion attack penetrated deep into his soul, causing it to stop operating for a breath of time. In such a critical moment, not to mention a breath, even an instant was enough for Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow's blood-chilling evil-slaying spear carried a spiraling penetrating force, directly piercing through Emo Zhengyuan's head and shattering his spirit sea. Under such circumstances, the true energy in Emo Zhengyuan's dantian could no longer be stimulated or triggered. Thus, it could not explode, and naturally dissipated. Knight Sorrow waved his blood-chilling evil-slaying spear and collected Emo Zhengyuan's storage ring. Then, he kicked Emo Zhengyuan's corpse back to the Devil-Winged clan's camp. Lin Chuan, this is the second. Who's the third? Devil-Winged clan's first Emperor Tribulation cultivator, Emo Zhengyuan, originated from the beginning of the 9th era. He was killed by Knight Sorrow on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. Two first Emperor Tribulation cultivators from the Devil-Winged clan had died in battle without causing a splash. They hadn't injured Knight Sorrow, nor had Knight Sorrow consumed any energy, let alone seriously injure Knight Sorrow. Emo Zhangtian's eyes twitched. He naturally saw that Emo Zhengyuan was about to self-destruct, but Knight Sorrow had interrupted him. Didn't you want to fight? Who's the third? I, Knight Sorrow, will stand right here. Knight Sorrow pointed his blood-chilling evil-slaying spear at the ground and looked at the Devil-Winged clan's camp. Very good. Do you think you're invincible now? Emo Zhangtian narrowed his eyes at Knight Sorrow. He wanted nothing more than to slap Knight Sorrow to death, but he knew he wouldn't have the chance. If he did, the major sects would definitely intervene. Then, a chaotic battle would ensue. He could leave, but the people he had brought with him would be left behind. Furthermore, the gentleman's battle would be held to suppress the momentum of the 100 races of the celestial realm. Are you stupid? Our Grand Commander asked you to send people out? Are you scared? Lin Chuan shouted at the Devil-Winged clan after carving out the names. Men go. Emo Zhangtian ordered again. At the same time, he sent out a spiritual transmission, telling the fighters to take the opportunity to self-destruct. They had to injure Knight Sorrow. If they didn't deal with Knight Sorrow, they would lose this time. The momentum of the Devil-Winged clan would be destroyed, and Emo Zhangtian couldn't afford to lose face. The battle began again. At this time, Knight Sorrow couldn't tell that it was the virtuous king. He waved his blood-chilling evil-slaying spear, and the members of the Devil-Winged clan fell one after another. In less than 2 hours, Knight Sorrow had killed another 7 experts of the Devil-Winged clan. His surroundings and body were dyed red with blood. Chapter 2092. Still want to continue? Knight Sorrow waved the blood-chilling evil-slaying spear in his right hand as he stared coldly at the Demon-Winged clan's camp. Emogentian squinted his eyes as he sized up Night Sorrow. He then waved his hand and retreated with his men. He knew that there was no point in continuing the battle. Without a proper solution, he would be killed by Night Sorrow no matter what. Wear out Night Sorrow? After 2 hours, Night Sorrow didn't have much energy left. An Emperor Tribulation cultivator wouldn't be worn out so easily unless they were evenly matched and fought for a long time. Another key point was that Night Sorrow could refuse to fight. If he continued to fight, he would be wasting lives. If Night Sorrow refused to fight, then he would fight another day. That would be a waste of lives. Go back and prepare. I have some time recently and will be waiting here for you to fight. Night Sorrow waved the blood-chilling evil-slaying spear at the backs of Emogentian and the others. Kill! 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 Deafening shouts came from Tianhuang City. 7 shouts were heard consecutively. Night Sorrow turned around and looked in the direction of Tianhuang City. He raised the blood-chilling evil-slaying spear and shouted, "I am invincible!" After shouting, Yishan directly jumped into the Nirvana Ocean of Extinction and cleaned the blood and aura on his body. When he jumped out of the Nirvana Ocean, energy vibrated and his originally wet robes became dry and comfortable. When he returned to his original location, Yishan looked at the messy battlefield with severed arms and legs. He shook his head. This is where I fought? That's right. You were the one who cut off the limbs, Lin Chuan said with certainty. Oh. This is a little too brutal. Night Sorrow felt a chill at the roots of his teeth. Blood was still flowing on the battlefield. The essence blood of an Emperor Tribulation expert was like his footprints. It wouldn't dissipate in a short period of time. They're here to kill you. Why don't you just wait to be cut down? What's done is done. It's no big deal, the Grand Elder said. Great Elder, you're thinking too much. Yi Shang isn't new to Jianghu. He can already accept these things. Our enmity with the Demon Wings clan isn't personal. It's a racial enmity. It's a war that won't end until one of us dies. I won't feel guilty about killing them. I'll guard this Nirvana Ocean Bridge. I'll kill whoever comes, said Yishang. You won 9 battles in a row, Yang Qi said. You killed 9 of the Devil Wing clan's first Tribulation emperors. That was a pain that went deep into their bones. Let's see how they deal with it. They wanted to attack the morale of the 100 races of the Celestial Realm, but they ended up being attacked instead. They definitely won't be willing to bear the consequences. The Grand Elder said with a smile. After leaving, Emogentian was extremely annoyed. However, he did not vent it on the members of the Demon-Winged clan. He knew that the root of this failure was that Night Sorrow was too difficult to deal with. Night Sorrow looked at the challenge card. So much blood. Captain, that's because you were too focused during the battle. The opponent's head flew onto the challenge card. Lin Chuan and I were very anxious. Long Jin said with a smile. I reckon your battle will come soon. In a situation where they can't deal with me and don't want their morale to drop, they'll look for trouble at the Emperor Tribulation and Emperor stage. The 2 of you will be in trouble soon. Night Sorrow looked at Lin Chuan and Long Jin. This is a good thing. I can't wait for them to come. We'll kill them one by one. Lin Chuan was energized. If you want to kill, I won't stop you. However, you must remember one thing. You have to listen to the arrangements. You can accept their challenges once every half a day. No matter how good your condition is, you have to fight once every half a day. Night Sorrow said. Yes. Lin Chuan and Long Jin nodded. You 2 don't want to fight consecutively? Lu Qi looked at Lin Chuan and Long Jin. Yes, but the Grand Commander's arrangement must be reasonable. Even if it's not, it's for our sake. Therefore, we'll just follow the orders. Lin Chuan said. Long Jin smiled and patted Lin Chuan's shoulder. He had the same idea as Lin Chuan. The Grand Elder and Lu Qi looked at each other and nodded. They knew that this was a brother. Trust, absolute trust and unconditional trust. This also showed Night Sorrow's charisma. In fact, just as Night Sorrow had estimated, the Demon Wings clan was currently unable to gain an advantage at Night Sorrow's level. They planned to suppress the 100 races of the Celestial Realm at the Emperor Tribulation level. The morale of the battle was very important. The Demon Wings clan needed this morale. They had to prepare for the final battle. They didn't care about the price. Now was the last era of the last reincarnation cycle of the celestial realm. It was the last era in which the Demon Wings clan of Heaven Wasteland would fight to the death with 100 races of the celestial realm. When the new supreme world was formed, the Heaven Wasteland domain would shatter. Lin Chuan followed Night Sorrow's instructions. After the morning battle, he would rest directly. No matter what the Demon Wings clan said, it was useless. He had to rest after a single battle. In the evening, he would fight another battle. That was 2 battles a day. While Lin Chuan was fighting, Long Jin cheered him on and engraved words on the battle plate. He didn't accept the Emperor's challenge. It wasn't that he didn't want to accept, but that he would wait until tomorrow. There was no hurry to fight, and they could fight 1 battle at a time. The next day, Long Jin, like Lin Chuan, won 2 battles peacefully. Lin Chuan and Long Jin didn't ask, but Night Sorrow still took the initiative to explain the reason. This arrangement was for morale. The Demon Wings clan came to fight to gain morale for the overall situation of the Demon Wings clan. Night Sorrow's battle was to wear down the aggressive morale of the Demon Wings clan. Let the Demon Wings clan suffer under the attack. Their morale would slowly be exhausted, and without morale, their combat power would be low. Night Sorrow still wanted to extend this mode of battle. There was no such thing as a secret in the world. Even if the Demon Wings clan blocked the news that this battle didn't go well, the Demon Wings clan would still know, and that would create an impact. Night Sorrow's purpose was to seize morale for the celestial realm. The Demon Wings clan launched the battle mode to pursue the morale. The Grand Elder understood this principle, Lu Qi understood it, and after Night Sorrow explained it, Lin Chuan, Long Jin, and the others also understood. Lin Chuan and Long Jin each fought for 3 days. Night Sorrow fought again. The Demon Wings clan didn't fight, so Night Sorrow took the initiative to fight. As long as the Demon Wings clan's first Tribulation Realm cultivators came, Night Sorrow would challenge them one by one. Night Sorrow wasn't afraid that the Demon Wings clan would avoid the battle. If they did, they would lose. Face slapping. Night Sorrow was slapping the face instead. He wanted to trample on the morale of the Demon Wings clan. Night Sorrow's tyrannical strength and tyrannical style made Mo Zhantian not dare to let the first Tribulation Realm cultivators follow the team to the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. If they didn't accept the battle, they would lose face. If they accepted the battle, they would lose their lives. Night Sorrow killed 13 Demon Wings clan's first Tribulation Realm cultivators, which made the first Tribulation Realm cultivators of the Demon Wings clan not dare to come to the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. This news spread in the Celestial Desolate City, and many people saw it. This made Night Sorrow's reputation rise a lot, because what Night Sorrow could do, others couldn't. You're tuning in to the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.